I'm Jimmy Jam.
And I'm Terry Lewis. And we're here rocking it with Cincinnati's own.
With B-Boys Underground.
B-Boy, where the fuck you at?
Chillin' in the club in my B-Boy stand.
I get it poppin' on the block like a B-Boy.
B-Boy,
Straight from the underground. Chillin' in the club in my B-Boy stand.
I get it poppin' on the block like a B-Boy.
B-Boy,
Straight from the underground.
where the fuck you at?
Chillin' in the club in my B-Boy stand.
I get it poppin' on the block like a B-Boy.
B-Boy,
B-Boys Underground.
Straight from the underground. Chillin' in the club in my B-Boy stand.
I get it poppin' on the block like a B-Boy.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, don't stop. Hip hop, don't stop. Hot.
What's good? What's good? What's goody? It's your buzzing cousin Ghost Boogie, y'all. It is B-Boys Underground episode number 24. We got special guest Yon L.i. Let's get into it. First off, we got the homie G-Fresh. What's good, fam?
What's going on, everybody? G-Fresh coming here live from Cincinnati, the 513. Trying to get it going again, man. A lot of people been a little under the weather, myself included. Big wheeze. Hope you feel better. Everybody get their stomachs is floating around. Got my nephew Yon L.i gonna be on the show today. Known him since the Rooter Tutor. So we're gonna have another fun show, man. Tune in. Appreciate all our guests checking in. Hit the like, subscribe, Discord server, all that good stuff. Let's go.
Yeah, man, I said Yon L.i, my bad. Yon L.i, I even knew better, man. That's my bad, and I'm going to apologize to him right now. We got Yon L.i in the building, y'all. What's good, fam?
Hey, man, just living life.
What the hell, man?
I'm living life, man. It feels really good to be at this age and still living my dream. I think that's the biggest thing I be telling people. How you doing? I'm living my dream. You know what I'm saying? So can't complain, man. I'm still that boy.
There we go.
Absolutely. Well, it's really good having you, fam. Appreciate you being on the show. Welcome to B-Boys Underground. Everybody, if you're new here, a couple of things. We get the housekeeping out of the way. Of course, we ask you to hit the like, follow, subscribe button, all notification bells on all platforms. We're currently streaming to you live via YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So get down with all the get downs. Please open the tab up on all the channels, y'all. Open the tab up on all the channels on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Get down with it. Help us out. Push us out. Share us out. If you got family, you got friends, they like hip hop, they like underground hip hop, let them know about us because we're trying to grow the platform. And only you, yes, you, yeah, you can help us. So we appreciate everybody that stopped in already. We got people checking in. We got Kennedy Law Beats. Make sure you follow them. Salute to them. They've been on B-Boys as well. We got Pan the Badass out of New Zealand. Y'all checking in. Shout out to our New Zealand family. His cousin's going to be coming up on, we've got him scheduled coming up here at the end of this month. We've got his cousin coming up. So we're going to get him. We're going to get a lot of folks going. We got Becca Boo in the house.
Word.
And yes. Shout out to my Mad Herbs brethren. Yes. They're going to
like the cup.
Well, that's a sticker that I slapped on my little things, man. But shout out to Mad Ways.
Hey,
shout out to Mad Ways for blessing me with a sticker. Him and Herbs One, who is also both Mad Ways and Herbs has been on B-Boys, and they're currently working together on a project. So that's coming out, and it's called Mad Herbs. So make sure you get down with them. Shout out. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in. So without further ado, we got Yon L.i, man. Like, let everybody know where you're from, who you represent, and then, of course, what got you started with this thing called hip hop. Like, what was it that made you decide, all right, look, I love listening to it. This is a way of my life. This is me. I want to go ahead and immerse myself in the culture even more. And I want to get active and I want to start participating. So I gave you a bunch of compound questions. I'll let you take it
Oh
from
no,
there.
I'm gonna break it down as best as I can. Well, as you already know, it's the one and only Young L.i. I want to first off and say thank you guys for having me on your podcast, having me on your platform. It's an honor to be around some real deal hip hop heads, some real music, music people that people understand the culture, and because it's something I've always loved to do is to be able to speak about what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people like to speak about what they wear, speak about what they drive, who they doing. I like to talk about what I'm doing. You get what I'm saying? So that's a blessing in itself. So thank you guys for this platform. First and foremost, man, like I said, my name is Young L.i. I want to explain that real quick because a lot of people ask about it, like, what does it mean? How'd you come up with it? When I was in high school, I called myself Yon. And it was just a little phrase I used to say. I said, Yon, Yon. And a lot of people was like, what the hell does that mean? And I'm not going to hold you. I had no like meaning behind YON. It was just, that's just what it was. Because, everybody was doing like YUNG or actually young. And I was just like, I want to be different. I'm going to spell it YON. So that's how it started. Then I got into college. I went to Miami University of Middletown. And I started calling myself L.i. after a record called Lyrically Inclined. And it stuck because it was like, boy, I really am lyrically inclined. So then I just attached the two. And to be honest with you guys, because this is what makes it so funny, I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago. Mind you, I had the name for at least 10. And I just sat there and was like, this YON needs to mean something because people keep asking me. They thinking I'm weird. They thinking I'm from another country because, I mess with anime. So they think I'm Japanese because I've already been saying Yosh because I will explain the word Yosh later. But now I end up like just had an epiphany one day. I think I was driving and I said, I know what YON stands for now. I called my wife. I was like, listen, this could be crazy. She said, what, man? I was like, listen. YON stands for young old nigga. And she hung up. So I was like, I understood why she hung up because she's like, why is he talking to me about this shit right now? He need to be going to do some shit, like go get something from the store or something. I was just excited because I figured it out. So with that being said, the YONLI stands for young old nigga that's lyrically inclined. It just makes sense because if you know my uncle, he knows I'm a young old nigga. Like I'm young, but I have an old soul, and I came from that era. So it was just a blessing to have that. And to continue with the question is just music's always been a part of my life. My uncle knows that. A lot of people around me know that. I'm from Forest Park, Ohio, which is Cincinnati bound. And the people that I was raised by, my father and my mother, they both were musicians and singers and artists. They've actually been in the industry for quite some time. My father and my mother was working with Midnight Star and LaFace Records and working with The Deal and Babyface. And they did like records with Midnight Star, did songwriting with them and many other artists in that timeline that came out in the 80s. So I'm very familiar with that brand of music, which
Now
that
I
actually is
know.
where my crew came from.
Now I know where I know your family from.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Through them and through actually, I used to do sound for part of the folks that knew all of them. And like, do you know any like Donald and David Stewart?
No, I believe so. My uncle Derek, DC. He goes by the Prodigal Son, Derek the Prodigal Son. He's also an artist who got me started.
Deluxe.
Yeah, Deluxe from the Empire. Yeah, so that's where it all started for me. Genuinely, I was already birthed. Like my mother told me, if you remember this, G Fresh, do you remember the studio that used to be at Longworth Hall? There used to be a studio. I think I believe Elliot's not Elliot Slaughter, but Elliot from oh gosh, I gotta remember the group. Anyways, I don't want to disrespect remembering it, but she stayed the entire 9 months she was pregnant. We were in the studio with me in her stomach from literally. They would start their sessions because they had late nights and they had to work in the morning. They would be in the studio from literally 9 p.m. to like 3 a.m. Like that was their block. And that's who I was. Elliot from Blessed Union of Souls.
Yes,
So she was
yes,
real cool with
yes.
them because she went to school with Tony, the guitar player from performing arts. So I'm
Yeah,
a performing
she
arts
was doing
kid as
some work
well
with
because
them. Yeah.
I went as well to performing arts. So yeah, I mean, with that being said, it just made nothing but sense to get into this industry. And to find my way to it was about learning production. So I was a drummer first. I played drum set majority all my life. And that's what got me into wanting to learn about beat machines and production and creating sound melodies and really broadcasting my talents in that favor. Because at the end of the day, I love Tribe Called Quest, Boot, the Wu Tang Clangs, the Busta Rhymes, I mean that entire era of like that true era of hip hop where the boom bap existed with the Dillas and the Little Brothers and the Slim Villages, and it just I could go on, but it just like they just enticed me with so many ways they would flip samples and drum patterns, and I got in this world of like I got to do this, and if I don't do this, I'm gonna lose my mind, and that's how it usually started, and from there I took flight. Anyone that tells you I never stop for shit, any way I find myself into being in the music, I get either involved more into it. So with that being said, I got myself into engineering. Now I'm like a head engineer in the whole Midwest region. I actually am now the Ohio director of audio for Ohio Media Broadcasting School.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Salute.
so I teach all audio emphasis about Pro Tools, FL Studios, live sound, and DJing, which I DJ as well, which is my newest venture. Shout out to my uncle because he was the beginning of that creation. I called that man and asked for his blessings. Him and Murkout, those are the two people I asked. I said, "Look, I'm 30 something. Think I could DJ?" They both hung up. Before they even hung up, they said, "We both told you to get into this earlier." And I'm like, "Dang, I got to pick up another trait. I feel like a Jamaican. I can do anything."
And lace you with all that good stuff.
Lace me. Hey, listen. If I
I
go to
hooked that hard
if I go
drive
to
up.
that, and we ain't talking about wax too. We got a bunch of wax
Right.
from you too.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but shit, to answer your question, man, I'm I'm bathed in it. This is my era.
That's
That's
dope,
good.
man.
That's a good way to put it. Bathed in it.
Well,
Oozing it.
absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you've got family, the thing that got me into music was my family. I mean, my parents, they weren't active and they were just huge fans. I mean, I would say that one of the things that was always big is that TV wasn't on. We always had our stereo on. Mom and dad
Mm,
were always playing records, and
mm,
mom and dad always were listening to a bunch of different stuff, and that was what was dope. You know what I mean? So I had my rock, my funk, my R&B. So like all of that stuff was all part of me, and it just helped continue to grow my love for music, where that was always my main thing. So yeah, man, like you just can't help but not. I think especially like if you're just like you said, immersed or bathed in it, and it's pretty much a humongous part of your life. Because even my dad would challenge me, like when anything there were songs on the radio, he wanted to know what song it was, what album it came from, and what year it came out.
mm,
So like that's the reason why I'm like, oh, that came out. This so and so came out in '86. It's their fourth album. That's the third song on the like
mm.
all of that stuff. So I mean, that was just always a game, right?
Discography quizzes.
Now
Right. You know what
facts.
I mean?
Like you could. I don't
You
even
know
want to
that was
go in no battle
73,
with
not
you
But
after
74.
that
hearing
was
that.
setting me up. That was
Yeah,
setting me up to help me. Those are skills that you use as a DJ. Hey, you got
yeah.
so and so and so and so. So let me figure out what the hell it is they're saying because they never have the right name of the song.
Oh,
Oh,
never.
never,
They'll be
never.
singing
And
the end of the
it,
song.
yeah, exactly. Like you got that one song where he says "fuck you." Like,
Yeah, it
okay,
go
well,
like dun
that's
dun,
every
then it
song.
pauses, then it go dun dun
Yeah,
again.
Hey,
and
that's
then he
that
says,
drunken age
Get out my
"Yeah."
motherfucking master
yeah,
shit.
get out my booth, man.
Yeah.
Get out my booth. Go get it right.
Hey, I gonna hold you. When you say this now, as who I am as not only young L.i but DJ Yosh, I didn't understand that pain as much as I do now. Like now,
Man,
like when I say professional, I have residencies. I go out of town with it, and when I hear stuff like that, I'll be like, damn, they really be beating y'all in the head in the middle of the damn dance floor. That shit is unfair. Like, no one should be sitting there thinking hard as hell about a Kelly Price record. That makes no damn sense. That should be crazy. Like, yo, man, you remember this one record by? And what's
Man.
crazy is when you play it, and you might not play it when they ask, they'll come. See, I told you this to get the dance floor jumping. I'd be like, bro, I played it. That's all that matters. Just chill out. Let's get through this set. Like, I can't.
Or
Y'all go through
if it clears the dance floor, because I
Oh,
always got to make sure I get their name. What's your name? Let me give you a shout out.
Yeah, yes.
And then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be looking for him, and once I peep him, then I drop it. I'm like, yo, brother over there in the green hat, yeah, so and so. This was his request. He insisted that we played it. Y'all better pack the dance floor for him
Hey,
because
hold
he
on, wait a
said
minute.
y'all was gonna
Is that
pack
him?
it.
Is that him going to
Yeah.
the bathroom?
Oh,
Hey,
why
hey,
you going to the
security,
bathroom,
stop
fam? Like, this
Get out
is your
here.
song. This is your song right here.
You don't get incognito now. You was
that's
blowing me up
the
at the
era we
booth.
live in, bro. Like,
Yeah.
hip hop heads, I've noticed as well. Like, there's a gift and a curse of not only being in hip hop and not knowing enough hip hop that is just alarmed me. Like, I can know everything about a certain genre to tag on to what you said about those type of people. If I would have knew that song he's speaking about, I would have said, nah, I'm gonna play the best song from that album. I'm not about to play the B-side that made him remember
Right.
about his mom or something.
Exactly.
And no disrespect to anybody and they love of music, but and I'm gonna add this in. Fresh, you need to hear this because I've been wanting to tell you this since day one, since I started. Because I'm doing all the sides of music. I don't just do the boom bap. I don't do just the trap. I don't do just the R&B. When I'm in these other pop clubs and they got the girls with the phones with the Taylor Swift record on it, I'm like, sweetheart, I'm not about to play that sad ass song. I'm just not about to play this sad ass break up with your boyfriend song. Like, that's the thing I've
Can
been
you
learning
play some
is
Adele? Like, hell no, I ain't playing no Adele. Look where
You
you're
sit in
at.
your room with that. Yeah. It's a club.
But they be
Right.
already intoxicated in the vibe and like wanting to
Trying
hear
to be
that
in their
song.
feelings and shit.
Yeah, nah. It's the same thing with trap music sometimes. I'm not trying to hear a real slow trap song or a song that I know that will take away from the energy of the room. The room
Right.
has to base itself off of an electrical current. And if you take that away from it, you actually are the enemy of the next person that listens to you again. Like, yeah, last time I was there, he turned my lights off. He duped.
Right.
Like, you gotta
Duke
be
energy.
gotta think about that. But nah, factual.
That's funny.
So, yo, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to some of the folks that have checked in since we've started. We got my usual suspect brother and Richie D420 in that house. We got the Oklahomies, Miss Catherine and Becca Boo in the house.
What's going
We
on?
got Mr. Edward
Home girl.
Sanchez Jr. in the house. Salute.
What's up?
Yes, sir. We got also, of course, we got Weez McGee, who's sick tonight, so he's
Feel
not
better,
going to
homie.
be here because he's going through some things. But we give y'all big love and hope that you feel good enough to make sure you can be here next week, man. Don't make me roll over there and like throw eggs at your house and shit.
Stomach crap going around, so everybody's weather changing.
Hey,
Be
man.
careful out there. Be careful.
We got Call on Carl in the house.
Carl, what's up? Urban
We
Reality.
got Herbs. Yep. And we got Herbs One, my brother right there. We got Hood Hippies in the house. Shout out to the Hood Hippies.
Shout out.
Super dope. We got Troll Face Gremlin in the house. So
Gotta enjoy
again,
that name.
Troll Face Gremlin. He's been rocking with us. He's a 5150. He's part of the my Cypress Hill family. So shout out to him. Yeah,
Hey,
man.
that 5150
That
line
name
sounded
helps
like he was a
remember.
part of a gang. Oh, but the 5150.
Well, so the 5150 Insane Asylum Kitchen Sink crew, like that's usual suspects. That's my 420 community. That's my 420 family. We all linked up, and one of the things that got me started was with the Be Real TV community and everybody that fucks with them. So because I've always been a humongous Cypress Hill head. So and that's what got me kind of started back into it with Be Real TV and all of those folks. And shout out to them.
No, shout
Without
out to all of
them,
that.
this wouldn't be here because I wouldn't have been streaming and I wouldn't have reached out to him and we wouldn't have been doing this. So
No, that's lit. That's super lit. And I'm a big Cypress Hills fan. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm telling you,
Yeah,
if I gotta play a record, I'm playing one of them when I'm getting them jumping, when I'm getting them moving, when I'm getting them bouncing. We going somewhere.
So this came out in 1991 or 1990 when they released their album. This right here is a necklace I wore all through high school. This is one of them pewter joints, like, you know what I mean, like with
That's
the little
crazy.
leather strap and shit. And I've
The
always
leather
had one.
strap.
Yeah, with the little whatever the hell it was, but
You had
it's
the
there.
fro?
Nah, man, I didn't have a fro, man. Man, you could call me powder, man. I've always been pale as fuck, and like my hair has always been pure white and thin and
That's deep.
like super straight. You know what I mean? So like I had Hulk Hogan hair, really. You know what I
He said
mean?
Hulk Hogan here.
You know what?
That's
I'm
deep.
just trying to give you the
Leg
best type
drop.
of
Shout
hair
out
that
to a Scandal.
Hulk Hogan. Shout
Yeah.
out to Scandal, my brother. I played football. You know, we chopped it up. We talked about that
That
last
was
week.
my
Yeah,
manager.
last week with Jay Wiz, we was talking about that.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
yes.
That's my
He took
brother.
him up under the
That's
wing.
one of my favorite things to ever bring up when people say about my career, like my boost, is Scandal, because I ain't never had an argument as good with Scandal, bro. Like, and I'm talking about, this was my manager. Like, we argue like we didn't know each other sometimes. It was so. But then right afterwards, we laughed at eating chili at Camp Washington. That shit was crazy.
Mhm.
And Camp Washington is the place. Everybody says, they ask me, like, Skyline or Gold Star, since you're from Cincinnati.
Right.
I'm like, Camp Washington. What?
Now you have
Like,
to been there.
Camp
You have to been there.
Washington, fam.
Yeah. I feel the same way when somebody asks about pizza. They be like, "Where would you go if you go? You know, what spot?"
What's your
Nah,
pick? What's your pick?
I'm going to listen, bro. I'm starting the one with the A, bro. I'm going to Angelo's, bro.
Oh, you going? Yeah, all right, man.
See,
You going with
see,
Angelo? See,
you know, me and my dad used to eat
I'm
Angelo
Trotters.
pizzas
I'm a
on our
West
way to
Side
the
cat.
studio. Yeah,
I'm a West Side cat. Trotters. Have you ever had Trotters, fam?
No, I have not. I have not.
Trotters.
I've
Yeah,
had
see, I'm
Trotters.
uptown. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
uptown.
and
as shit.
Angelo's. Well, they had them all over all over Cincinnati and Greater
Angelo's
Cincinnati.
was all over, bro.
Yeah,
Nah, that's a
and they
fact.
was
And
they
the
went
way they
back
used to
into the
just
40s,
put a
50s.
bunch of food on your, it
Yeah,
should be
man.
like, it'd be like 3 different types of meats. It'd be heavy as hell. You damn
And let me
near
tell
them
you,
hoagies was like, boom.
when you're
Ooh, them
broke as
hoagies.
hell, back in the day, if you had them little magazine cutout coupons, you could
Oh my
get
God.
like 4 hoagies and 3 large pizzas for $10 type shit with the 2 lid. Like, it was just ridiculous. The amount of food is like, all right,
Yes.
so I'm gonna go ahead and make
He
an
said,
order
I'm gonna
with
go ahead.
Angelo's.
Now it's Little
And
Caesar.
no, but that's my grocery
Oh,
shopping. That's my grocery shopping. Like, I'd have a pizza for
Yeah.
Monday, a couple hoagies for like Tuesday, Wednesday.
Stretch it out.
You know,
Stretch it
like,
out.
seriously, man. Like, I don't need to go to Kroger's because I've got all this. But I would do that with La Rosa's though, because La Rosa's
Yeah.
always had them 2 hoagies and a pizza.
Or the buddy card deals. Yep. They used to do
Yeah,
it. Now it's
man.
over expensive. Now I swear the last time I went
Oh,
to,
yeah, here we go
Everything's
with
expensive.
food.
yeah, I swear
Shout out to
I
Weezy,
blame the
talking about
Roses for
food.
giving me heartburn,
Papa
bro. They be going
Dino's.
crazy. Papa Dino's. Oh my
He
God.
Oh,
remembers
starting
Papa Dino's.
I remember Papa Dino's for sure.
Does anybody remember? Like, this is gonna show my age. I think Fresh will remember them, but I don't know if they had them out there where you were at with Pasquale's.
I mean, why was I just about to say Pasquale's? I just
Pasquale's,
Googled it
fam. That's that
about-
aged me.
I Googled that about 2 months ago. Seeing
These
the
are all
thing,
Cincinnati pizzerias.
Yes.
Yeah, my bad, y'all. We
Pasquale's.
went to a whole natty vibe.
Nah,
B-Boys
food-
Underground's
food
originally
finds
from
its way
Cincinnati.
into hip hop.
No, I just be
Yeah.
saying, because some people, when they hear that and they from here, they be like, what does it taste like? Like, because if you ask now, they'd be like, Godfather's or these other little spots like Dewey's Pizza. Like, they would not know nothing about them other ones we talk about if they weren't from that area. That's a fact.
Yeah, the era and the area. So yeah, these ain't
Yeah,
chains.
man.
These is like locals that have maybe 4 or 5 locations. So
But they were good enough that they should have been chains because they're way better than any
Oh
of
my
these other
gosh.
chains, man.
yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because you was bathed in it, and me, knowing your pops, one of my influence getting into the game. I had influences as an MC, as a DJ, and as a producer. That your pops was a big influence coming up with the that hot snare. Snare got to be popping, got to be banging. So I mean, I I think I went a little overboard and almost it became the G Fresh snare, and I was like, nah, that's the Charles Hooton snare. He said, I mean, everything, all the mix could be low. That snare would be like, pow! It just reach out the fingers and smack you in your face. So that was
Bro,
that
you
was
just
Nah, that's
broke
a
my
fact.
6x9.
right. Tweeters was in danger, but
You
from
just
the
cracked my
Tweeters in
tweeter.
danger. Big tweeters.
yeah.
Nah,
So
my
go ahead.
no, I was just about to say, just to add to you, like my people don't know about my dad because, as you all know, he died when I was very young. He died in 2021. He was one of the coldest, just all around artists I've ever got to be around because he was not only my father. Because people they hype their dads, they hype their family members, like my
Yeah.
cousin, my uncle. But
Mhm.
like if you were in the room with this man, you not only did four things: you laughed, you cried with the laughter, you got dope ass information, and you understood music after you left that room. And that's one thing he always was able to do. And to add to your snare thing, like I used now remind you, he died when I was 12. So I got to see him for that amount of timeline. My conscience probably didn't really completely understand who he was until I was like 5 or 6. But
Right.
that snare thing you're talking about, it goes back to so much different eras that the snare existed in. So it always started it truly started in New Jack Swing because the boom, like when you listen to any of those snares from any Telly Riley, any Jimmy Jazz, Terry Lewis, any of the like any of that era of the SWVs and the Diddies and the Bad Boys and like that East Coast swang stuff, that's where it resonated and it found better ways to come in. But I really do think my dad, he really got his idea from the snare, from the marching snare, because when you really hear an actual
Yeah.
snare, like that real clap, like it can
Mhm.
open a whole person's heart. Like it just go, whoa. Like the same way how people now feel about 808s, that's how my
Mhm.
dad felt about snares.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the reason when he brought that up is because, and Fresh will tell you, I never like took that into consolation immediately when I made production. I just always liked loud ass snares, no bullshit. Like I would every production I ever had, my snare sounds like you just got beat up by a Mortal Kombat character right in your face, like bow. It just is how it is. And when he hears it, it's crazy because every time Fresh hears my records, he says, "You got your daddy snare," and I keep thinking, like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I don't, he didn't tell me to put that there, but it's in my blood. Like it just is. Because when I go back to all the records that one of my favorite records my dad used to like a lot back in the day was "Rub You the Right Way" by Johnny Kill, and
Oh yeah.
like you would hear that in there, and then stuff like "Just Got Paid." Fine ain't fine. You just hear that snare
Mhm.
cut through the suspension of the drums, the melody
Yeah.
patterns, and whatever it was. It made itself a presence.
It was
And I
like,
feel like,
but
Almost like
but
a
he had a
backbone.
low end to it with that, 'cause especially when you think about that song, it was like a foot, it was a kick and a snare at the same time. Because I
it's
remember like
stacked. Yeah.
that was always a huge song that was requested when I was at Skippers. And like when you play that song on a big
Mhm.
ass system, like it's like when them snares are hit and it's like a fucking machine gun going off in the club, like boop, 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 boop,
Nah,
like you know what I
facts.
mean? It just fires.
Nah, you ain't never lie. And you know what's so deep now, being a complete engineer, understanding the audio of it. The frequencies is what really has been more important to understand because when we look at an
Absolutely.
EQ band, we can recognize where certain sound effects are allowed to live by seeing its wave. And then the wave
Mhm.
itself shows frequencies that might have more bottom end, and depending on how it's EQ'd or compressed, you have more ability to give it more pain. Now, to be a more gangster in this conversation, because I be wanting to show my weight in here, one of my favorite people that ever really knew about his drums and kicks was Marley Marl. He was able to show that,
Absolutely.
like when he said his favorite thing he used to do when he DJ, right? He would DJ a club, and he said, I would play a song, and if I would notice that the drums was hitting and they were dancing, I would go and sample those, and then be the ones I use for my kicks.
Mhm.
And When I first heard it, I was like, this nigga is crazy. Because it's like, I never thought of it like that because I wasn't DJing at the time. But then now when I DJ, I see what they're saying. Those things that resonate to the people that are in the room will help you benefit your next venture. That's what it's all about in this life, whether it's color patterns, whether it's wordplay, whether it's, anything in particular that draws that attention. And that he would say is be the snares and them kicks that he utilized. That's why one of his favorite drum patterns is Impeach the President. And it always shows in a lot of his production, especially when he did records with LL Cool and stuff. So it's like, it's just the art form that you have to represent and respect. Same thing I feel about the funky drummer. That's you can just feel that cat.
That syncopation there.
Oh my God! Listen,
Rest
I
in
can rap
peace
over that
to
drum
J-Bo
for the rest
Starks
of
and
my life.
Clyde Stubenfield. Made one of the best drum patterns ever. Woo.
Man, you know what I'm saying? And that's just a part of the element of hip hop. And I think the newer we get, the more we de-recognize it, because I think this is more important. As me being this young, but still knowing my history, that keeps me afloat around everybody. And with my next steps in my ventures of doing EDM and house, it's slow because I'm gonna be able to push all the little kids out the way. All they're doing is using loops. We're going to recreate the loops. We're going to find new worlds to live in, and we're not going to have to use certain patterns and drums and styles and drops and sweeps. And no, we about to behemoth these in here, and I can't wait for a shout out to my boy DJ on the One because he opened my eyes to a world. And I'm gonna tell you that story when we get a chance.
DJ on the One. What's up,
when
DJ
I tell
on
you
the One?
Jay Skills put me in this position and we almost fought. I'm talking about I almost lost a friend, like a real friend. I'm talking one of my best men at my wedding. So I'll break that down to you later. But at the end of the day, one thing I love about what I've accomplished between now and then with what we were just talking about with the snare drums from my parents and my father, it's to recognize what moves not only the crowd, but the soul. And the soul's hard to experience if you don't have one. So that's just what it is.
So I have a question for you. So being around and of course you were in the studio and around the equipment and everything like that, and being around in the 80s and the especially the mid 80s, early mid 80s and late 80s, you had all these classic machines coming out and the machines and keyboards that, pretty much shaped the music of the 80s because everybody switched the keyboards and Lins and all of these things, right? And you think about think about Prince's, think about Michael's, just those two, right?
Right.
The keyboards that they used, right? And they had emulate the Prophet, they had all of these, all of these different machines and keyboards and stuff that were just had so many dope ass sounds in it. What was the one? Can you remember, if your father had a favorite keyboard or favorite outboard? Because I'm going to switch that and ask you that question too. So not anything computer related. I'm talking about straight.
No. That's my world. You spoke my language. I mean, I'm gonna speak up and so. When I say my dad and keyboards, he had made sounds. He had picked sounds. But one sounds that he really got attached to was the sonics and stuff like that. So he liked the funky sounds. So, but those all were streamed off of those profits. And what I really believe is that it really got attached from the Roland. So the Junos, the Jupiters,
got it.
Those definitely had those sound waves that were affected by the oscillators that gave you that sound. Now, I'm really saying that to say something else though. People keep giving all the praise to some of these things, but they're not giving that praise to Moog. Because the Moog boards had so much oscillating options that oh my God. I mean, the bass lines that
changed the 70s music. So you think about let's say how important the 808 was to the 80s. The Moog was that important to the 70s.
Nah, big facts. And it was in the funk bounce. That
and the Fender Rhodes
Oh, the Fender Rhodes. I mean, the Rhodes is and Have you ever picked one of those up? Just being honest with you.
Bro, I toured and
Woo!
I was a touring sound man and I had to
That's a
carry
heavy mug.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when they had the bass on it too. So you had to detach it from the bass.
Yeah.
Everything about that, they were like at least 200-300 pounds. They were like
And you
ridiculous, man.
you miss drop or you miss do, you could affect the oscillators or the keys itself, the
Yes,
functionality of it.
sir.
So I'm very familiar. But to add on to that conversation, just on my dad, he just loved that funk of it. That ability to where the waves can actually get, when you modulate it a certain way, when you're able to, especially with pads. I've always knew that about him too, with pads. Those pads had to sound like strings to him.
Mm.
And those strings, like, that catered through the Prince vibe. They also catered through the Mike vibe. But they all had their reasonings. And people keep forgetting about location, who produced it. So when we talk about Prince, we're talking about, the Metropolis. So we got the whole era of, the cameo and all. I mean, we talk about those guys, the Jimmys and all them. The time, all them, they're not playing with you. They giving you that funk. But then Michael had the chance to get the dance with Toto, man. Who gets to say they dance with Toto, man? Like, you got Steve and all them giving you, and John, but because giving all those vibes, like that
He
was
had all
not
the Quincy
fair.
Jones production
Oh,
and all of the people Quincy was bringing in
oh my
to
God, it was so
The
unfair.
writers,
I mean,
composers.
I mean, it was
he
so
had
unfair.
Eddie Van
Dude,
Halen come through and do his
yeah.
guitar,
Hey,
and
for free,
Dude from Heat Wave
for
wrote
free.
all the songs.
He
Yeah.
never
Temperton,
charged him
Rod
for that.
Temperton.
People do not know
Yep.
that. He
Yep.
never
I
charged
know.
him for that the guitar riff. He just like,
Yep.
yeah, he's a cool guy, and left.
Did
Like,
you hear
what
the story about what they had to do to make that song though? So they
Which one
went
are
in.
you?
So, well, it was the one with Beat It. So the guy who actually played the what they had to go through, because when they had Eddie was playing his guitar solo, right? They had just him playing to like a backing track, okay? And
Right.
what they had to do was the guy who Quincy was like, they lost something or they didn't capture it in the mix. So they went to
Shot
one
to
of these
analog
cat.
recording.
Yeah, shout out to analog recording for real.
Oh,
They
boy.
they lost something. So what this cat had to do was crank up Eddie Van Halen's track to hear the feedback of the monitor in the room and play to that rhythm and not the actual rhythm that was coming through, to actually make it in pocket and groove. And then they had to remix it down just to match everything. So it was like just that song alone, there was so many hands in it. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, and you
I
ain't
just
never
seen
lied.
that little. It was a little documentary on there. I just seen it maybe
Yeah.
less than a year ago, and
Nah, I
Yeah,
did
man.
hear about
the
that
dude
story.
had dreads on. It was playing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
No,
heard
it was
about
the
that
white
story.
cat that went in and did that shit.
that
I
was
ain't gonna
somebody.
hold you,
It
no
might be a
disrespect.
different
Mike
song.
had a lot of white cats that were actually like so groovy that if you didn't see their face, you'd be like,
All of the
Uncle Phil.
Motown cats. The funkiest, it was a white chick that was the funkiest bass player that was part of the Funk Brothers. You remember that cat, that chick? I can't remember her name. She's
I know you
responsible
talking
for some
about.
of she was bad as hell too, man. You know what I
Aretha
mean?
You know,
So
Franklin's
because
producers.
not to put
Downtown,
color,
them boys was
not to
nasty too.
not to put color to sound, but there is no color when it comes to this way that we do things. If you
Absolutely
feel it,
not.
you feel it. It's different when
Soulful
you get
music.
into certain forms of it, though. And Fresh will he can definitely he can definitely talk about that when it comes to the scribble jams. But when
I
it
was
comes
there.
down to the end all be all, if you got soul, the real recognized real, especially in that
Absolutely.
timeline. I hate to say, like, for example, with Steve from Toto and John, like, to know that that boy could just do chord progressions and make a whole person feel away with just a bit of a sample
Yep.
and just get that whole thing on the album. I'm talking about that song. And remind you, we all know this. That album only has 9 songs on it. And every song was on the charts in every part of the country, to the point where Human Nature, the song itself, was #1 in Dutch. Like, who talks that like that? I mean, like, that may not be people's favorite songs, but it's my favorite song, which Fresh knows that. But all the other songs that he has accumulated through that song has done nothing but numbers since the day it came out. That's why it's the highest selling record of all times. And it's just very difficult to, back to the whole color thing. It's like, I don't ever know what's coming out of music until I find out later. And then when I do, it just be like, damn, I need to find one of them. I need to find one of them cats that's that intelligent to keep me in tune to my music. So yeah, man, when you get a team behind you, when you get people like Quincy Jones, or even with matter of fact, before I go any further, do you remember the story about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis about with a Prince?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how he fired him.
But at a snowstorm.
Yeah, man.
In Metropolis, how do you not get caught?
Well, because he was mad he did something with SOS. They produced that SOS record.
Listen,
and the SOS band.
They've been sticking around doing their own
but
thing.
he missed out on a lot of good music. I'm just being honest.
Prince was as creative, was suppressive to it being, total,
I think it happened on
totalitarianism
purpose.
with that. It is a possibility.
Good. No, I mean, it happened for a reason.
Lie.
Well, the thing is that they were, if he didn't fire them, do we really get that epic run that they had with all of those? I mean, the Janet Jackson albums, the SOS album,
the Bobby's, all that.
Bobby
yeah,
Brown.
Sherelle, Alexander O'Neal.
Jesse
and then
Johnson they got some good music too. Yeah.
And then you got them linking up like with the whole, like just even speaking and thinking of Kashif, all of those cats and that whole, I think that whole, I think it was a benefit that they were able to, it did happen, right? Because I think we would have been cheated out on all of this, a ton of music that we, that wouldn't be there if it wouldn't have been that way.
That
so
not only influenced, the R&B and the sound. I mean, hip hop.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There'd be a lot of songs that just be some gaps in them without them.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was kicking ass through the 90s, bro. I mean,
so Fresh knows this, but to the world, I have a collection of my best producers, right? Like ever. And just how I feel my best rappers are ever, my best producers are the same way, because my producers, the very top, who you would say dead or alive or whoever was, they are tied. There's only two sets of ties I have. And my ties on producers is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Teddy Riley. Whereas my rapper is going to be Biggie and Tupac. I just can't, it's just unfair to put that 1 to 2, because one thing I loved about when I watched Babyface and Teddy go at it was, no matter what they played, they said before they played it, I hated the fact you were up. This is what I did after that. It's like, what the fuck? It was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Straight comp. Like, it was just like, they wanted to smoke. They were each other's ops. If all the young people listen, they were each other's ops. The same way Yamaha DX7 was out, the Juno was out. The same way the Prophet was out, the same way is the Oberheim, which, by the way, to add to your question, because I felt that was coming up, my favorite keyboard and my favorite piece of equipment, and this is sick because I actually never owned one, but I just know what it can do, is an Oberheim. The keyboard,
I've got an Oberheim DX. I got a DX, bro.
But I'm talking about the Oberheim keyboard, because the way that
I know.
It's just the way that and people keep, to anybody that knows anything about synths, anything knows about sound, the oscillators, by the way, weigh as big as 2 babies. Take 2 babies and put them in your arm. That's one oscillator. It's just, think there's boards with 4 or 5 of these in them, able to arrange and give you more options on your synth play, right?
Yep.
So yeah, the Oberheim, brother, hard.
All of their equipment was crazy, and that Prince used a lot. I mean, he was especially Purple Rain. All of those drum machine, like all of the drums from Purple Rain, for the most part, was originally out of an Oberheim.
He was messing with that Roland too, though.
Yeah,
he was one with that Roland the keyboard.
Anything
I think it was the D. Was he running with the D50,
unlike
right?
what he heard before. Yeah,
I think so.
D50,
Yeah, the
Roland
D50.
D50.
Yeah,
There was one more rolling though. It was a not a Jupiter.
Can't remember
But
off
you know,
the
one
top.
thing about him is, by the way, quick question about, I just want to ask on this because this is some video gamer knowledge that people don't recognize. When I was like, I think I was like 14, I was reading in a, this is back when I used to watch, what was that comic called? Not comic, but magazine called Game Informer. You remember Game
Game
Informer?
Informer. Oh hell yeah, man.
So you know I'm a part of the nerd core. Shout out to Mega Ran, shout out to Juice Lee, all my guys in that field. But I was reading this at 14, and they were talking about Guitar Hero, and one of the Game Informer guys interviewed Prince and asked him how he felt about Guitar Hero, and he said that shit ain't real. He said you're pushing buttons, I know chords. I was like, whoa. As a kid, I was like, whoa. He just ruined anybody's dreams about being a guitar hero. Like, he just ruined it. Like, that's
Hey,
gangster. Like, I've
the,
They
always
should have
loved
been
Prince like that.
prepared for that.
the
Nah, that's a
musicians
fact.
did not want to have their music on Guitar Hero or any of those things, especially another group that they were trying to sign for Guitar Hero and Rock Band was Led Zeppelin, and Jimmy Page was the same way. He was like, "There's no way anyone can sit down in their living room on any given moment and recreate the sound and things that John Bonham did, the drummer for Led Zeppelin." He was like, "That's
Nah,
just,"
that's a
he was
fact.
like, he was like, "We know music." To the same, almost to the same, pretty much the same echoing what Prince said. It was like,
Nah,
there's no
but you
way.
know what's crazy when you say that, right? And this is the energy. This shout out to my nerd course because we have these type of
Mm.
debates on our forums. When we say stuff like that, because we discussed that, like Billy Joel and these other artists that felt away about it, like Prince and them. But we laugh because they don't pull up at these cats when they do their re-edition bands. Because them the ones that's really ruining your career. You got this guys going on tour. They crossing the whole West Coast, so they going up the East Coast, playing your music, and it's garbage. Wearing your clothes, dancing, falling off stage, drunk,
Mhm.
but we just having fun in the crib. And you would, I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it like this. Music is a part of necessary information. It's an education tool to the reality of a human. The one thing that we've always recognized in music, right? Rap, rock, all that, jazz, gospel, anything, country,
Input,
it
output.
always has a purpose. It has a purpose about teaching us about what we are as humans. We feel things, we go through things, we have love, we fall out of love.
Sound,
We
smell. It's
you
just
know what I'm saying?
all
And I think
it's
we
one of
lose
us.
that.
Part of our senses at this, with music. A world without music is almost lifeless. And let me ask you this, because we didn't talk about it, we didn't jump all over the place. Um,
Yeah, my
can you
bad,
get?
my bad, my bad.
No, you good, you
No, we're
good.
talking
We
music, bro.
we're
This is
talking
music.
music.
This is what
You
this
know,
is
I'm a
for.
fucking
mainly hip
musician. You
hop,
see
but
the boys.
music. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Just anybody jumping in late, just break down the timeline from your music progression. Starting with your dad
Okay.
to going to playing drums, rap,
Nah.
producer, engineer. Now you're chicken
You're
DJ.
right. It is. Listen, so to tell that story, I have to let you know what I end up finding out. Where I'm at this present time, I figured out I had to go through these periods to understand my love for it and to respect the art of it. You know what I'm saying? So, as everyone mostly does in music, I started in my artistry, writing. I went to performing arts for percussion. I got in there in the 8th grade. I started to understand the importance of rhythmics and understanding cadence, understanding patterns, understanding just chord progressions and stuff of that nature. Because I was a drum major at Performing Arts of Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, down on Fourth and it's crazy when I think about it because it ain't there no more. But
Right.
down there, age of 14th, man. 14th was popping. Like we was getting it popping. And remind you, when I went there, this is when the riots was going on. So I was watching people stealing PlayStation 2s on my way to school. They
Hmm.
shot up the entire KFC while I was at basketball practice. And it's not there no more. Like these are the things I had to witness at the timeline when I went to school.
Right.
So I went there. I started getting interested into production. I started making my own records, rapping, writing. I had a Casio, like everybody else does. I started off on that, made production, got a 4-track from my mother, had a Tascam 4-track. I used to sample in records from remember Madden when Just Blaze and DJ Premier made beats for the Madden 02?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was sampling those into the piece, and I was rapping over those with my friends. Then I started learning about EJ, the production computer program, and started making beats on there. You know, further down the line, I started to see my growth, learning about what kind of things I want to talk about, where I came from. What that was getting tied with was my uncle. Shout out to my uncle, you know, the prodigal son, D-Luck, man. Listen, he got into this whole big world of gospel music, and he actually had a promising album around the time my father passed, and I did a record with him called I Got a Question, which was my first recorded record I ever did. And from there, it just bubbled into this whole world. I started learning about recording process. I learned about backtracks. I learned about highlights. I learned about ad-libs. I learned about all those things, but just watching him do it. And his setup at the time was we were using the Akai 16, the 16-track recorder that had the 1 gig of terabyte in the back of it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's a 1 gig in the back. So, and he was making his production on a 2500 Akai. So, you know, from there, it just kept spilling in. I did small recordings on my little, you know, FL Studio demo and, you know, like how they all start. And then the real trip happened when I went to college. And that's when I started to recognize how important wordplay was and concepts and delivery and showing space between words so people can listen and understand. I used to notice that I put too many words in a sentence. And then I met a group called New Breed in Middletown. Shout out to Middletown. That's my second home from home. They just showed me ways to utilize my vocab, you know.
Take
and
a
respect
couple of adverbs and adjectives out and still get the same.
Yeah, and make them be a whole. Cause
less clutter. Yeah.
I was taking one verse that could have been three bars. Like it was
right,
just
and jamming it in.
I was going too hard. Yeah, so because I had something to say. I think that's what it was. With his young ass. But I was young as hell.
Taste it out. Well, and then people
so,
need to help. You know, when you get to that point, it's good to have people to help with that.
You do, and you also have to accept help. Anybody that's listening, if you feel a way about what you're doing, accept help. Don't ask someone, how does it sound? Accept what they say without your ask, because that's what truly comes from the heart. You know, if you ask somebody, they'll just be like, oh, yeah, it's cool. Just turn it down. That's not enough. If you would allow them to give you a true, hey, you said this word, you could have took this word, you know. And by the way, this is one of my secrets for all the artists on page. I learned from 2 people how to rap, and it's a style. I learned it from Cameron, and I learned from my sister, and he knows what I'm talking about, Fresh. My sister is deaf. So in the signing world, they don't sign every word. They sign phrases.
Right.
So they won't sign, are you going to the store? They'll say, are you go to store? So those spaces give them ability to sign the words without breaking their wrist off. The same thing with Cam. Cam would say certain word plays like, I'm a dog, poodle. He'll say, I'm a dog, call me a poodle. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things that I recognize that there's how to match. And that's wordplay from certain hoods, maybe certain locations, but that's what really got me Himothy. That's where I was like, oh, that's what you want.
Kind of like hip hop shorthand, you know, somebody, a stenographer, they're not
hip hop shorthand. That'll be a good ass game called hey, Fresh. Can we get the LLC? We can make a card game called hip hop shorthand.
I heard B-Boys Underground first. Hip hop shorthand.
Now let's get that set up. And that's just how it started with my rap. And from there, like everyone else in this world, I went through every avenue to try to find music, whether it was beats. So I went through DatPiff, I went through gotinstrumentals.com, and my friends just kept saying, bro, you need to start taking your beats a little bit more seriously, because at the end of the day, you have a unique sound. How can we be our own if you were just rapping on everybody else's? So I took that effect and I went serious. I started taking into consideration of when I moved back to the city after being in my Middletown, start buying, small MIDI keyboard interface, buying the program and not using the demo, shit like that. And just noticing the honesty of myself. Like,
Switch beats.
if I'm gonna take it seriously, let's pay for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah,
and
buy
from there,
the
just
beat,
jokes
not
it.
stop. I couldn't stand the freestyle era where like, man, I got a mixtape, and it's just you rapping over everybody else's stuff. I mean, one or two, and if you kind of interpolate it and play a parodize it, that's one thing. But just you rapping on the beat, I gotta hear the original person. You gotta create something original yourself. I mean, your first project, Kickstarter, established art, you rapping over industry beats. I'm not interested. But
I mean,
continue
the
on.
only reason why I understood it at the time, and I now understand it now. If we do it right, it
Yeah.
allows you to utilize those verses for, like, if someone had it on, like, say somebody rapped off the like that right now with the diss track from Drake and Kendrick Lamar, right? If the
Hmm.
verse is hard enough, I can slide that in there as a show mix. But if it's trash, like you said, if it's a freestyle and you rapping about you and your cat smoking blunts in the crib, no, sorry, delete. Like, I'm not about to hear that bullshit. So, and I understand that. I feel what you also are saying is too, if you're gonna rap on somebody's production, it better be better damn near than the person on the
Yeah.
production.
You better
Take
go in for
over
the
the
head.
production.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Own
Absolutely.
it. You better own that shit.
That's why I love Wayne, because Wayne got to the point where I forgot people rapped on that song. Like, I'll be like, Fat Joe was on that song. He was trash. Like, it just be that deep. It be like,
Hey,
uh,
speaking of Wayne, did you guys hear the news? He announced this Monday that he's releasing a new song this weekend live on WrestleMania.
Oh,
I'm super
interesting.
excited.
I
I
didn't hear
think it's
that.
coming out with a project. That boy's ready to. And by the way, can I ask y'all two a question? Do you not feel
What's that?
Wayne has been on his fucking Timothy vibe since he been coming out as of late? I feel like the last year his verses have been some phenomenal. I just personally.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. I
he's
mean,
he's been he's been on the incline as far as when I from first hearing him and then watching the progression, man. It's he's the epitome of how as you get older you should get better.
You
That
should get better, but you also
yeah.
get worse. It's crazy, right? Like, that's the world we live in.
yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot get worse fall off. I see some get the formula for, staying relevant and still being true to, who they are, And we're gonna
PK Herbs one.
yep, shout out to Pete. Repeat Herbs one. Yeah, so
Shout
then,
out to
so
everybody.
after the MC, you got into getting your beats for it, then you start doing beats.
And then I start beating up the block. You knew what happened. You knew that was coming. And this is for all y'all that don't know nothing about me. I was being honest about my current stage of my artistry and all that. Now I got to get on my cocky shit. When anytime I talk about beats, and Unc knows it's about me. I am one of the best, if not the best, in this hemisphere when it comes to beat making because I don't take no slouch to my production. Rap, I ain't gonna hold you. I love my rap. I also think I stand candles to all of these rappers. But if I have to choose which one I'm the greatest at, my production is the greatest thing that touched God's planet. And I was built to do this. When I know counts from 16, 8 counts, when I know how to play chord progressions from C minors to D bass, but don't play with me, man. That's just how I feel about that. And that's when I got into the world of the beat making, beat battles. And Fresh knows where I'm about to go with this. That's how I met all these greats
Yeah.
and wannabes. There's a few greats, there's a few wannabes. So shout out to the wannabes that want to be me. You know what I'm saying? So
Hey, look, that
Yes.
bravado, that talk your shit.
Miss MC
nah, man,
Humble.
that was a great era. That was a great. And honestly, it's funny because Fresh should tell you, yes, I was bathed in it. So the era of the Scribble Jams, I was already mentally there, even though I wasn't even there as a child. So when I did do my version of battles that happened, which was in production, I battled the best. The Kill Wills, the M80s, the J Skills, the Young X's, the Kick
Marion.
Lees, the Jillas, the
Yeah.
Naptowns. I beat all them niggas up. I did start getting beat up. That's how it goes. You come in, you play a beat, bam, get your ass out the ring. Next round, or next beat, or next chance, bam, get out the ring. But I start to find my fault, just like any other boxer, any other fighter. And I became an elite. I knocked out the champion that was on there for 10 months straight, shot the DJ on the one, AKJ Skills. I knocked him out of his realm, and that's where my name got cemented. Went a little bit further into that, and went out of town with it. Went to Atlanta, went up to Toledo, went to Columbus, went to I went to Kentucky. I went all over the place with that. That was like the one time, not on my artistry as a rapper, but as a producer, I got to see myself shine on platforms out of this actual climate I live in. And I really got to be recognized as I would not play with him. To the point where, you remember the song Alabumbaye?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the producer's name's Black Metaphor. He saw me in Atlanta, and I battled this girl. Her name's Higgy Beats. Shout out to Higgy Beats. I just punched her in the throat, like just straight, like. And then he looked at me and was like, "You ain't."
You dunked on a female, man.
But I had to. What are you talking about? You want to step up? I want to step up, nigga. Like, that's all I know. Like, punks get beat up, they get beat down. What are you talking about?
Oh shit!
That's when competition is at the realest. Because I literally, in my playing days, the girl ran across me. She's out there playing with the dudes. And I tried, I almost killed myself trying not to hurt her. I said, next play, boom, she got flushed on so hard. And everybody's like, damn, Fresh, you just dunked on a girl. It's either me or her. She out here. She out
All
here.
right. So check this out. We gotta do it. It's time. We're an hour in, and it's time that we're gonna go ahead and get into some music. So got your YouTube channel up, and I'm about to put the YouTube link in all of the chat. So boom, there it is.
And while you loading up, I did have Miss Cat. We got to give a shout out to Big Weeze. I had a couple introspective questions, so I'm gonna ask you a couple here. Because as a artist, then a producer, now a DJ, top 5 MCs, your list. Any, the whole hip hop genre.
Nah, and it's been set. It's set in stone at this present time, so I can go ahead and go for it. But I told you already for both sides that I have a double on one, so I'm gonna go with that off rip. So my first is definitely Tupac and Biggie. I cannot pick or choose.
Separate them. Okay.
So that's just how it's gonna be. I don't care how people feel about that. That's how it is. Second is Hove, God MC. Okay. Third, and some people might not understand this, but if you know me, you know it's Kanye West. Okay. My fourth is going to be Busta Rhymes. He is the coldest rap. I'm telling you, when that boy rap, it's over for you. Like, and I'm talking about also think about 97 Busta. Think about 2000 Busta.
I will tell you, I've seen 96, 97 Busta live perform, and he performed with every single band that performed, had a costume change for every single one, was out in the audience and getting cussed out by his security, like, get back on the fucking stage. Like, he was going I'm telling you, ball of energy like that. That man.
Every outfit was a new fluorescent color.
I mean, it was just to match that whole "got you all in check" video. How, like, every he was just killing it though, man.
Woo! Yeah. Hey, fun fact for all those that don't know. I think everyone should know, but remind yourselves that Busta Rhymes is the first artist to do $1 million in a video shoot. First.
Okay.
With that, listen, with that, put your eyes where my hands can see. That changed choreograph, all the stuff that a rapper would take to have a video shoot. It probably cost a fucking box of chicken and a few dollars, but to watch this man run with an elephant, that was the Michael Jackson puppet one time, bro. He had you really feeling away. Like,
Oh,
so shout out to that man.
creativity.
And my
Brother's
fifth,
dope.
So what's your fifth? Go
but
ahead.
my fifth for sure, it's M.
M?
It's
Okay.
Eminem. Yeah, it has to be M. The reason why it has to be M is because the background of M's life in battle rap, to actually pursue a career, he is the only battle rapper that made it.
Mm.
Am I wrong or right? You cannot name a battle rapper that battle rapped
they're
as well as he
successful?
did. We're talking about truly battle rap. We're not talking about New York battle rap like Jay-Z and DMX. We're
Yeah,
talking
we
about
talking
battle
about
rap through the country.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Seriously,
Yeah.
had to go and spread his name as a individual. He broke boundaries for a lot of people, and Wells broke challenges for other those. Like these cats that don't understand to actually speak about your actual life or even make fun of your life. He
You
broke them boundaries, and for
And
me, he
broke the
gets the fifth place.
stereotype of battle rappers
Definitely.
can't make good artists and make
Yeah.
albums that people gonna buy.
Yeah, and no one's ever like a.
He's the only one
I
in
mean,
my
he's
eyes.
well. I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, when you say because I think there's been a. I'm trying to think of the cat's name right now. It's
Now
but
you can't because they don't exist.
but nah, but like they're not on his level. There's no way to compare to him, right? You know, in regards to success,
You got to
because
tell me too.
he's one of the most successful selling hip hop artists of all time with just his numbers that he's done, regardless of how people feel about his place in hip hop or get into that whole conversation. He's one of the top selling all time, hip hop artists.
I'm digging in what he
Period,
said, like
hands down.
going around the country, like dude.
No, he killed it.
And going to the next battle and then becoming.
I mean, he killed it.
Because we met a lot of them guys.
And he was in the
Yeah,
freestyle era of battle
where's
rap, not
they albums
progressively
at? We
writing.
don't know.
Because now what we deal with in these URLs, these battle leagues that I'm involved in, with artists that I deal with, they are preparing raps 3 months in advance, 2 months in advance. This guy was coming off ahead at an era where to not only be his skin color, to not only be where he came from, to not only be this young motherfucker, he beating you up. And then just get with Dr. Dre now. However, a lot of people just say if he wasn't with Dre, he wouldn't be who he is today. That's the bar they say. That's 3 bars, by the way. But the vibe of the fact that his conscience accepted more and more and more through the line of his control. So when you look at his first project, it was goofy. His second had a little bit of depth. Third, it started to become a show. That's why it's called the Eminem Show. Then everything else proceeding, especially after Encore, you might have a feeling about it, but at the end of the day, he's already broke boundaries. Like you just said, he's already did everything that, and then he put out a movie which created an idea for a man who's now shooting every film or everything that black people are watching at this present time with 50 Cent. 50 Cent runs the black culture. He's damn near the BET of the culture right now.
That first album had to be that way because that was almost like a aftermath label saver. He had
that was the aftermath label.
And you know why you saying that? Because the firm, ain't you? You saying that because of the firm and all this shit that Dr. Dre tried to put out.
I like some of the firm, but he had some other stuff going on, and they wasn't. That was a turning point for aftermath. Got it.
No, it was definitely a turning point. It was a turning point for Jim. Jim still had to recognize that, and I think people don't recognize how much Jim went through. Yeah, he locked himself in a bathroom and became one of the greatest A&Rs of all times. But this man still had to deal with some of the most egotistic, bullshit-ass situations. And he's still on course side of LA getting bags. That's just crazy to me. That shit is crazy to me.
Herbs once said, "Fuck the money, let's speak on skills." We're talking about skills. I mean, I think maybe Boogie said something about sales, but you listen. He said this is nobody you want to go against. In a battle on wax or internet, this dude's still carrying that torch as somebody's gonna light your ass up. So his skills is that. So dope pick for your fifth. I would ask one more. So take your pick on this one because we got to get some music here. All right. So.
If you don't mind, before you go further, hey brother, if you go on that tube, I want you to, if you don't mind, I need you to play the Self-Care and the Hater. Those are the 2 records I want to hear for sure.
Are those only on Spotify?
No. Those are on the page. They got the
On
video.
Those are on your YouTube page.
So
Word.
you see this
Got
shit right here, shot the Yako. We uptown. This is a Forest Park scenario. Like I was the first person. I was the first person in my district to be rocking not only this brand the way I do, but actually utilizing the school district. And then that's what got me in tune to actually being a teacher. That was my first step to be involved in my actual district. See, I give back and not only take away. That's what a lot of artists do. They take away the people, the vibes, and everything. I bring back. And I was able to do that with my family. So shout out to Winton Woods, Uptown, Forest Park, FP, Alphabet City. We out here for sure.
Hell yeah. So I got a question. Could you repeat? I heard the hater. What was the other one?
Self-care.
The hater and self-care. Self-care should be coming up first for sure. You should go through the vids. Self-care, but the hater is the second one, if you could look that up. But those two will really give you a justification of my reasoning, you know. And then there's a few others, you know, you can go through the reason. Listen, back to that era when I made the album. We gotta talk about that, by the way. But what was you about to say, Fresh?
Oh, well, I'm gonna give you these. Well, he pulled them up. Our people going like, okay, we got you. We yapping. Let's get some boom bapping. Last question. Take your pick. Top 5 producers or top 5 DJs?
Okay. And DJs, whew. All right, I'll
mean,
go ahead with the 5 real quick
pick.
on the producers. That's
Okay.
easy. The producers, like I told you, I tied that as well. It's Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and they're connected to Teddy Riley. I just can't. The way they make me feel, it's just so impactful. So my second will be Pharrell.
Okay.
Pharrell's
Salute to
production
Pharrell.
is just out this world. After
Absolutely.
him, it's Timbo, which would be my third.
Yeah.
Yeah. My fourth. I'm on my fourth, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is that 1, 2? Yeah, fourth. So my fourth would be Kanye,
All right.
because you know it just. Yeah, I want to say something about that too, because Kanye has a thing that people don't recognize, and he has a bounce. It came from a lot of other people, but that bounce is ridiculous.
Mhm.
I gotta say this because don't make me feel away. I had to pick between 2 people, and I'm just gonna pick the person. It's gonna be Just Blaze.
Good
That
pick.
second person
Just
could have
Blaze.
been Dr. Dre, but Dr. Dre makes dance
Just
records. I
Blaze.
like bounce records. Just Blaze. When I hear, oh my God, when I hear anything that, like, especially like, I don't know what life would be, what HOV. When I think about all that, are like, oh my God, he has so many records with Hov that just, I damn near want to cry when I hear him. Like the one he got with what is that, Beanie Freeway and Even Though What We Do. Oh my God.
Oh, even
crazy.
though what we do is wrong.
Oh my God.
That song is one of my go-tos. Like if we just need to set this bitch off right now, we going right here. Like that's dead ass. Because I mean, you can't not but get up off that. Because I mean, it's just that energy and the way all 3 of them come at it. Like, dude, like that one right there is.
You know the
Yeah,
secret
man.
behind
I
that
get
song
hyped
is,
every time I hear that.
you know the secret behind that song is after he did that verse Freeway. I think if you remember this, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the same.
Oh
This
yeah.
the same timeline where Jay-Z was talking to Swiss. And he's like, "Boy, I got a boy harder than your dude, and he from Philly." And he was like, "All right, cool, y'all battled in." I swear this was right after. This is right after they did that first. So it's Freeway and Cassie, and they both battled. Remember that shit? That shit did not go well for Freeway. I think I swear to God in that video, Jay-Z said, "You gonna owe that if you lose this." So yeah, that was
Similar styles too. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. Oh, remember All Right by Freeway and Everything's Gonna Be All Right. All right. That boy, listen, man. Them beats is hard. And that's a great ass
Beans
sample.
and Freeways, dope. I think both of them.
Yeah. That really
Dope
great production.
MCs, man.
Word.
Big property.
So
And then DJs, top 5 DJs.
top 5 DJs. I'm gonna start off with, I have to, Grandmaster Flash. That's first. He's the first sampler.
Salute.
He's like the first everything. He does like 12. Right? Listen, done. That's it. I ain't gonna go no
Okay.
further. So we
Done.
got Fresh. We're gonna go second. We're gonna go with and I'm being honest, we going with Premier. I feel like
Primo.
DJ Premier has brought so much in my life that it makes sense.
The new Snoop Premiere album, the new Snoop Premiere that just dropped this week's fire. Check it out.
Yeah,
I
he's
checked it
moving.
yet. I
He's
think I got a
moving.
link for it. Yeah,
And people don't know he DJs only with one hand.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, he don't use his left. He always with his right. He like me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've always been. We'll talk about that later.
Hamster
But
style, I believe they call it.
Well,
He
he
said
he
hamster
dual decks
style?
it though. Like he
Yeah,
he
I
dual
think he
decks
puts
it
them both
on
on
one
the-
side. He puts
Yeah.
them both on his dominant hand.
So
I can relate.
third has got to be Jazz, because it's just ain't nobody doing piper like he do. I just don't give a
Jazzy's-
fuck who
Ooh,
tries
yes,
it.
yes,
It's
yes.
impossible. Like Jazz is my third.
Still cold.
Oh my god, right? So let's see. My fourth, damn, that's a really great question though. Fourth, it's probably gonna be and see, I'm gonna talk about DJ on a different scale. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
say Molly Marr, because to know
Nice.
that he makes the beats he
Molly
did at the
Marr.
timeline, to hear him DJ at a show in the fucking 80s, oh, that'd be crazy.
I had a
That'd be
feeling
crazy.
his name was gonna come back up, either in producer or DJ. So yeah, because he
Just
used to
has that
rock. I used to have
ability.
my WBLS tapes. Boy, he used to kill.
Man, listen. So that's another one. And and I'm not trying to disrespect none of the young DJs that's coming out that's working their ass off. Hey, congratulations, but you didn't do it like African Bambaataa. So I'm going with that with my fifth.
Okay.
Bambaataa. Good pull. Good pull.
Said
Good pull.
that and took a hit.
Boom. Blow that shit out. All right. Party people.
I already
listen,
know what you was gonna say, Fred. Shut up.
Hope we did Weeze proud with got some semblance of his questions that he like to ask every week. So we got that in.
That's lit.
Ooh,
That's lit.
Canada Law said Chuck chill out. Oh,
Absolutely.
what's that dude from Detroit, Mojo? Oh, that dude was ridiculous.
That is tight.
Yeah,
Yo,
man,
want to let everybody give everybody an update on Weeze. He's currently in the emergency room, so I want y'all to go ahead and send some prayers, positive vibes. As
Prayers,
well.
brother. Get well. Stay
Get
up,
better
keep
soon.
up.
And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into, speaking of making sure that you're taking care of yourself. Gotta take care of yourself. Self-care is one of the most important cares, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you definitely ain't taking care of the people around you. Because you can't take care of the people around you properly unless you're taking care of yourself first.
yourself, yes.
So work on yourself, take care of yourself, get your shit together, and do better. With that being said, you got anything you want to say about this before we get into it?
Quick funny story about it. It was, I got a call from one of my favorite people in the world. Shout out to Douglas Eyes. He's the guy that shot the film. He said he was doing a rendition. He wanted to get all of his favorite artists to do a one take. If y'all know what a one take means, he literally doesn't do stops. He just does like 4 or 5 takes of one take and just brings them into a show. And he said, pick a song. And this is one of my songs that's coming out of the album that I'm working on, called Easier Said Than Done. And it's gonna really identify people with my boom bap abilities, because they can't hear him for some reason. So I made this record during COVID, and a lot of tears was dropped on some of these lyrics, but it was honest. So yeah, we it's a one take banger. It's the truth. So let it run.
Here it is.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
When I wake up, stretching my arms, designing ways to get cake up. Always got the oven on preheat like a baker. Gotta keep it real myself, the rest of it make up. The way I look in the mirror and I see nothing change up. Only thing I might need is a haircut. Call Siki on the telly, see if he can fit me in for the line now. Self-love, self-care, ain't nothing changed up. All praise to God for the way that I came up. Much love and respect to the way I was brought up. Kings have been locked up, in the streets tied up. Ain't a dollar amount that can even add up to the amount of game that my grandparents taught us. Never had self-pity when any times got rough. Knew as a child I'd be a star like Miss Stuff. These are thoughts that start my day that get brought up. The real but simple memories that keep me caught up. Leave the house and start my daily jog. Turn on the beats and put a leash on the dog. Peace with the swing, sin with the wind. Exercise this body so the shows can win. Call my wife, tell her I love her, say what's up to a friend. If I missed it, make sure I call back on my canyon. Yo, calm down now. Groovy. It starts with self-love. Produces self-care. See self-love. Makes self-care. It starts with self-love. Produces self-care. Self-love. Makes the person I strive to be is to be myself. I'm the person trying to impress is the Lord of myself. Never walking with hands out, don't depend on help. Self-love is self-care, power about mental health. I space out on negativity. You know the vibes, I don't deal with that energy. Busy creating compositions like symphonies. Up in Italy, shining like a piece made by Tiffany's. Man, I love being me. Yeah, it starts with self-love. Produces self-care. See self-love. Makes self-care. It starts with self-love. Produces self-care. Self-love. Makes of self-care.
Yeah, man.
That boy was doing the uptown walk. Y'all ain't hip to that. That boy is walking to the dollar store up in Forest Park. Y'all ain't hip.
Oh wow. Yeah, that bass line was. I had that bass line in there. Was that
you
real
play
jazz
everything?
sample there?
No, actually, not a favorite sample. I actually so to confirm when I do production, depending on what vibe I'm in, that actual song I did not produce. I had a producer. I had a producer from out in Utah. He's a jazz chord progressionist. Like he's a professor. Like he got a master in jazz and did that record. And I heard the record from him like about 4 years prior. And I said, "Hey, bro, I want to rap on this." He's like, "Look, I just make beats. I don't make songs." I was like, "Okay, but this about to be fire." That's what I
Just
told
give it to
him.
me. Give it to me.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to him. Like, but one of the things, and just to tell you why it's that deep, he told me not to say his name. He's that type of producer. He wants all his production to be recognized on his own behalf. He doesn't want to be sponsored by artists, which is crazy because this goes back to what I've noticed about producers. I think people don't recognize that. Like, some producers are just producing. They're not in it for the goals, the Grammys, the nominations, the abilities to be recognized for what they do. So
They
he
like
just
making,
told me,
they
like,
like making music. Yeah.
yeah, and he just told me, just rap on it, do what you do. And that song in particular, I told him what it meant to me. I was just like, if you listen to what I was saying, like, I spoke about my existence during COVID. I started on my daily jog, put my beats in, put the leash on the dog. Like, that was what I did that entire time. I had to find space within spaces. And it hurt. Like, and Fresh would tell you, I had dreadlocks when I read that record, when I wrote it. Like, straight dreads down to here, and I cut them because I lost my grandmother and during COVID, and it hit too hard for me. And a few other things that happened through that process. It took me away from myself, so the care wasn't there, right?
Yes,
and when the pad came to pen, like, and remind you, I don't write a lot. Like, I don't actually write at all. I believe I what I do is we call the Wayne effect. I remember 4 lines, I drop them because I own a studio. So I drop my first 4. I go in, I listen to it, I drop my next 4, next 2. That's how some of my process is, or I'll write my whole 8 or 16 in my head. That's how I usually did. But during that time, that walk, I would write down lines and I would just start thinking. And I started to see the actualities between me just spazzing something that I like to spazzing about what's going on. And I was able to obtain a certain energy. And that's what that song gave me. That gave me that, you know, no matter what goes on in your life, if you don't take care of yourself, the people around you won't take care of themselves. You are their picture. You are their man in the mirror. You are their vision, their television special. Especially and fresh. And you tell me if I'm lying. I don't see myself as a superhero or a great person in the city. I just feel like a person that really has done stuff. So when people tell me, hey, this song did that for me, bro, I appreciate that. So I think about that when I write my records nowadays, because it's like, if I say rob a bank, that's a possibility. So I need to chill the fuck out. Like, so that was a song that really let people know, keep your zen
Disclaimer:
in
we
you.
do not authorize lyrics to rob banks.
I've seen it. Hey, they're using them in court.
In case they
They're
come
using
knocking on
them
our
in
door.
court.
Yes,
Like,
they are.
God damn. They done ruined my whole vision of thug. Not just young thug, but being a thug. It wasn't I went through this. It's more like we're gonna get you for this. You know, you don't see nobody persecuting Hov for the shit he said. Fuck the statute of limitations. This shit
But
is
Hov
sad
did that so you didn't have to.
to do that. But guess what? They did that because they didn't hear Hov do that. Nobody was listening to Hov. You know how many niggas hate Hov in the hood? Not because they don't hate Hov. They don't understand Hov. They ain't have to put the pot on the stove. They just had to just rob a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the feature of the video games that we portray that we're not understanding. Just because it has dual shock, some people don't have the dual shock controller. They can't feel it. Get what I'm saying? So that's the world we live in. We need to recognize that.
Interesting.
Perfect transition into the hater. Tell us a little bit about this.
Oh yeah. So I keep relying on Fresh because he was through all the shit I went through in this process.
But we're interviewing you, man.
No, I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
His name was Bennett, not in it.
Nah, Bennett, not in it. Yeah.
Especially robbing the bank statement.
Here we go. Nah. So when I did that record, right? I did this song when I was at the current time at being at a company called BTS. It was Beneath the Surface. It was a very good upcoming company that I worked with a lot of good individuals at the time that were artists.
Shout out to BTS.
I did a lot of work in them rooms. I was 75% of the engine that helped that build, especially when people have left, people have found other avenues in their lives. During that time, I was doing a lot of drinking. I still do, but at that time, boy, there's a lot of drinking going on because that's how. And I'll talk about that later about the Mike and the drink. But that timeline, I was really thinking about my past and what I went through in my past. And one thing I kept telling one of my best friends at the time, especially till this day, is Blaze Six. He goes by Six. One of the greatest singers I ever met, and he's a whole comic now. It's crazy.
Interesting.
I just told him like, bro, I was a lame. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, they did not like me in school. I always wanted to rap. I always wanted to make music. I always picked anybody that could rap. Told them I was better than them. I had this testosterone, you know. And one of the testosterones I recognized at that timeline, as I didn't have a father to talk to recognize the reason why I was that fucking high strung. I had a mother. My mother just knew, be yourself, do what you do. She didn't know how to deal with capped on situations. She was a pretty girl in high school. She was cool as hell. You know, me, I'm this light-skinned cat with the long nose and tall as hell, weird braided hair. You know, I had my own issues. And so I went and reflected to that era. But I recognized how much the hate was my use of grease that I deep fried my music I've done now. I utilized that timeline so well. And I see it after that. Like that's what the record talked about. It talked about being picked on, bullied on, picked about these things that I had in situations going on. And I recognized that I'm actually here, and 75% of the people that we're talking about me are not even in my field, first off. The other 40 to 30, they're not even visible to this world. They're just regular people. And I found I broke out like a whole flower. And the main thing about this project was that song was to tell everybody that it was an anti-bullying record, because when you watch the film, you start to see that, because I actually wrote the entire score from top to bottom, and it goes from a kid getting picked on, then through the record getting noticed, and from there. And to make it deeper, like I was telling Fresh, I did this in my actual high school. I used my actual teachers, like from my time period. Like I actually, it took 5 years to do. It took 5 years to do. I went through every circle of life just to do this video shoot. And it was crazy to the point where when I did it, the first time I did it, I remember they said, all right, you got to do this, that, and the third so we can do it. So one of them was, you got to teach at the school. You got to do our homecoming party, this, that, and the third. All of it was like, yeah, I was wanting to do that in the first place. Like, what are we talking about? You're just giving me more work. I've been wanting to do this. And to the point where when I showed this to the entire student body and all of the teachers of the entire district, some of them cried. They were like, I didn't know you went through that. I knew you were younger, but I didn't know you went through that.
I remember telling you this process and having to do the homecoming. And was one of this might have been a different video. Did this have some, was y'all shooting where Forest Fair Mall was? And
no, not the mall. It was all at the old.
That was a different song.
It was the old Charger building. It was all at the old Charger. I had to talk to you like an OG, you know, right there on Waycross.
Yeah, I remember.
So 1, 2, 3 Waycross.
Oh wow!
Man, let's let them hear this, man. This is deep.
Here it is. No haters.
Never would have made it without y'all. Without you.
So genius.
They said I never could make it because of my situation. Daddy passing my skin color lighter than I could bake it. Got a Pinocchio nose, and the whole school was hating me. Still love to clown me in the big boat, they never played me. Let it be known, no. Thank you for your participation. Forget what all of y'all was saying. I made it because all of y'all was hating. Man, I know what's up to be a son. If they don't see the real you than you, telling you that you can't make it. Tell you your dreams will not come true. Man, no hate you in your face, but don't have love below. But if you make it like billboards, they'll bring you to speak about your letter. We know they don't know what you came to do. Just know with time and with your grind, you'll make it through. I will never let a hater make a decision for me, because me coming from Winton was a warrior I was meant to be. Yeah. Ain't no stopping this hustle. Ain't no stopping this grind. Man, y'all can hate me now, but y'all love me in time.
And then they gonna show you love just to hate you later.
Oh, yeah.
Be prepared for it all.
I was always known to build something, rubbing on the karaoke with my cousin, dropping track after track, and I'm better doesn't everybody clown me like me love it. But I know you got some haters. I was getting to the paper, out of space with a fader. Why you on for your participation. I would not be here if y'all weren't hating. Since I left the ones I stopped the playing. And if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't have made it. Never would have made it. Never would have made it. Never would have made it. Let it be known though. Thank you for your participation. Forget what all of y'all was saying. I made it because all of y'all was hating. I'm stronger, I am. I'm wiser, I am. I'm better, much better. Yeah, I made it. I would not be here if y'all won't hate it.
Dope. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that sample flipped.
That's Marvin Sapp.
Yeah, yeah. My wifey plays that every blue moon and probably once a month when she get in her room. Never would have been. I was like, I don't think I've heard it flip before, so that was very interesting. Definitely love the teacher joining in while they. Boy, if you haven't been to high school and beating on them tables at lunch and doing your raps, woo,
No,
dope
that was the
project, man.
era. And I was lucky
Yes.
because if you think about it, the beating on the table, and I think all of y'all could understand this, the best beat we had that we beat it up, that if you didn't know how to do it, they make fun of you, is if you didn't know how to do grinding by the clips. Like that was the beat for me in my timeline.
Absolutely. Hell
That
yeah.
beat line was
I can see that.
crazy.
Oh my
That
God,
was
yeah, dude.
crazy. Man.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah. That was dope,
So
man.
yeah, that was a really
You had
dope.
to have
That
a
was
quarter and a pen. You know what I mean? You had to get it going because I mean that was shit that we would do back at when I was in high school. That was like I wouldn't rap because I just didn't feel like that. Vanilla Ice, I still got PTSD from when Vanilla Ice came out, man. Like it's like damn you, man. Like, still have PTSD. He fucked it up for all the white boys for a long time, man.
Yeah. Well,
So anyway, I was like, I could bang on the table. I got rhythm, bitches. Give me the
now I
quarter.
got rhythm, bitches. I'm done.
Well, you had gas face. You had
Oh
damn,
yeah, I mean,
my
yeah,
mind
third
went blank.
base.
MC
Third
Search
base.
and Pete Nice.
Yeah.
Third base.
Which,
yeah.
That first album, I mean, that album was dope for sure.
Nephew, you got the one. I don't know if that's on your YouTube. I think you did it with Emac from BTS. That was one of my favorites. You had a video for that. I don't know if that's on. You know what I'm
Nah,
talking
but
about?
you say EMAC. I'm trying to remember exactly which one you're talking about because I did several songs with EMAC. He was
This
on.
one. It was kind of clubby. Real. I think he has some nice, real nice horns in it.
Man, like I got so many, and going back to one thing I like about working with certain people, I stay in that pocket with them and make a few records with.
Yeah. I feel. What
I'm
you
just trying to
mean,
remember which
I get
one. I
that.
know the last one I did with him, we had a song that we holding on for a while called Blue, and
Called
I
what?
put it out for a second, I took it out, but it wasn't no horns in that. It was just we made a group called Blue, and basically it was just the reason why it's called Blue is because it was Blaze 6. The song was called Blue because it was Blaze for B, L for L.i, U for who was it? Oh yeah, Uncle Bitches. You know Liz, the one that sells the laptops, the Macs.
Not offhand.
So
Or if
Grizz,
I
his
seen him.
son, he got his name named Uncle Bitches and then E for
Bitches.
EMAC.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the name. That's what crazy. But now like Oh yeah, shout out to Emac. One thing about Emac, hold on, are you talking about his song or it was my song?
It was your song. I think he produced it or co-produced it with you.
Oh man, look, hold on. You got me thinking
Well,
hard as hell. I will say this
yeah.
though. One thing I want to tell people too, because I think a lot of people say it's a lot about my work. That like some of the records I really like, you didn't even produce. Like you had somebody produce it, and it was like that's when I get in my artist mode. But if you want to hear me rap, you hear my records from my production. There's so many of my beats that I feel like it gets overlooked. That's why
Well,
I
that's why I
use
want
them.
to segue to
Go ahead. Say that.
your
What you
channel.
got?
I want to segue because on your YouTube channel, of course, you've got your beats as well, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. I want you to tell me which one of these beats would you want to let our
I mean,
listeners,
it's kind of
our
funny you say
viewers,
that because there's some shit in there. That Kanye record, that Kanye Benny joint, and if you
right
go
here?
down a little bit further, yeah, that motherfucker, that flip. I want. Let's see if y'all even know where that's from. That sample.
All right, well, let's get into it. Here we go.
Got a rock chill.
Well, I think I mean I'm getting Journey, Ask the Lonely.
Oh, it's definitely not Journey.
It's trying to think of like because that
It's in that pocket.
no,
it's
it's
in
like
that pocket. It's not Journey though. See this that if I do a hip hop,
hold on, no,
Rual, y'all ain't gonna figure it out unless you really know.
no, yeah. So it's not that.
That's why I love sampling. If you don't know the sample, it just makes it even better because you ain't trying to think of the lyrics.
That's funny. Yeah, but if you're a sample head, a producer, or somebody that's a connoisseur of music, see that look on his face? He over there like, what the fuck is that?
Because I know the song.
You won't know.
I do know the fucking song.
It's nothing
Bro,
better than
like
that look when you catch somebody.
you're in my pocket right now. As far as like I'm knowing what this shit. I'm trying to think of the pop song. This is a pop song, right?
Nah, it's in the 80s. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. It's in the 80s.
Exactly. No. I know. That's what I.
And if it let it go, then you probably catch it because it stops it before that part comes in. Somebody said
that's the best part. I be laughing like, how do you know this part?
Somebody said Triumph, Miss Cat. It ain't foreign.
Triumph is. I don't think it's the final countdown. Or what is it? You got to tell us what this is, man.
Yeah,
hold on.
Tap out.
So just to throw this out there, it's a Toto.
It is
somebody
Toto.
did guess
motherfucker.
it. Micah, Mr. Mike.
I'm gonna say because I'm about to
Mr. Mikey Unlikely.
And the grand prize is you know more than we do.
Thank you.
Mr.
Is fucking.
Hey, it's off their greatest hits. It's
Mikey got it. Yeah.
Shit, cause see, I can't even pull up my.
I knew it was in that '80s rock vein.
Yeah, it's got to be that rock band because it's damn near.
Yeah.
So I done got people saying Chicago. I got people saying it's Toto, like they should know it. They say it could be
Mr. Mikey Unlikely. Make sure you follow him.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah. So
I mean Toto. But I'm trying to think. Like I'm thinking of the song because I know the song. Like it's all in that era, man. Like fuck.
And actually,
hold the line. Hold the line.
Hold the line.
Yeah, you figured it out. Congratulations.
Hold the
You win a
line.
toy.
No, the one I was looking.
Yes.
No, the one I was looking for you.
Now he
From
said it. That was it.
No, I'm talking. I ain't talking about the
Hold
beat.
the line. Love
I'm talking
isn't
about the one you song you
always
But
did
you
with
see why I cut it that way. It was
yeah,
that,
so
remember
you
that
would
Cameron
know it.
Dipset
Yeah,
vibe? They would
Yep.
cut shit to be in double time while it was already in triple time. Hold up.
and that's
Boom, doom,
exactly
doom,
like
doom.
I would hear
Promise
doing
is
a song to
always.
that would be the
And I would
Dipset
cut it
camp.
that way to be in double time. That's some shit
Yep.
we learned in Uptown. We some NPC having ass niggas.
It would
You know what I'm saying?
definitely sound
Like,
like something Dipset would jump on. But no, I found your song from what you did with Emac or produced it or
what was
co-produced
it called?
Liquor Run.
The liquor
Oh
run.
my
Yep.
God, Liquor Run.
I
Show the
love
video. Show the
that
video. Run
beat.
that. Run that. I
Yes,
forgot about that. That's a good song.
yes.
We step, two-step with the limbo school like a pen. We step and tap, two-step with the limbo school like a pen. Pop the bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor store, yeah. Pop a bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor
Nights
store,
like these, I just love for my kinfolk and cuz. Homies OGs in the spot, show 'em the love. When the can of brewski on chill, 2 bottles on the table, top unsealed. With a few bad bitches and they known to keep it real. Puff, puff, pass, still do it still. Cognac sipping, Snapchat flicking, taking shots to the face like thinness. None of these shorties timid, ass shorty, she be with it. Music in the air, then we run to with it. Talk like whatever, I'm sip whatever. If we run, I'll get more, it does not get better. Woo!
We step, tap, two-step with the limbo school like a pen. We step and tap, two-step with the limbo school like a pen. Pop the bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor store, yeah. Pop a bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor store, yeah.
Boys forget the club, man, the club was a spot where we could smoke pot and not get bothered by the cops.
No time limit, no last call.
We was all homies, there was no need to brawl. Sexy ladies popping tops, taking off bras. Play what we want, no need for DJs at all. Everybody put us on the freestyle. Take a shot after shot, let the beat drop, yeah. Surrounded by the table playing beer pong. Getting busy, getting chatty, bumping our songs.
Pop the bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor store, yeah. Step, tap, two-step with the limbo school like a pen. We step and tap, two-step with the limbo school like a pen. Pop the bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor store, yeah. Pop a bottle, let it overflow. If you run, I make a run to the liquor store, yeah.
You know, I'm surprised you called that because I was dissing DJs on that song. Say, what do you say? Nova need DJs at all. And then I wear this shirt. It makes
Now
it
you
worse,
a DJ.
man.
Now you a DJ.
No, shut up.
Dissed
That's
your-
why I told you I
did-
cussed
man,
out
this
niggas
like
since-
hip hop back to the
I told
future.
you. I
dissed
told you
yourself
since day
in-
one. I
in the
was
past.
dissing things. I was dissing things. I was dissing timelines. Man,
Fuck
listen.
DJ Yosh.
Listen,
Oh, that's
it's an
hilarious.
honor to be one, but boy, it was hard to see one. You know, because let's be honest, that record hard, right? I don't know if y'all
Yeah, I
fuck
like
with it or not, but
It's
they
got a
weren't
nice.
playing that in the
That's
club.
got a nice vibe to it.
They weren't
I like
playing
it.
that. They weren't playing none of my gamers, junkies. They weren't playing. I think that's the main reason why I was afraid to be a DJ, because people are scared to play music that makes their soul feel good. They like to play music that is popular or whatever makes them as a DJ feel good.
Or
Like
what they're
it's a
trained
chance.
to know to what they think is
you
popular.
have to.
It's like
There's
it's
so
radio
much.
programming. It's programming.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that nowadays, things are a little
Talking in, I hear
different.
you, Fred.
Is different. You know what I mean? Like it's different. You have to read the crowd, but also know the trends and the TikToks because the youth are going to want to hear that and be able to flip it. So, I mean, honestly, being an open format DJ and being able to say, all right, I'm going to hit you with so many different genres, but it's going to be all music that's got a feeling and a vibe that matches this level energy. And you ain't ever going to think that these two songs actually blend, mix together, go together, got wordplay together, got the same vibe, and they're going to be completely different genres. And everybody's just going to be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And for me, like that's always been the thing for me, was being able to have that music knowledge to be able to go all the way back on some 60s, 70s funk, slap you with some 80s, hit you with a 90s boom bap, straight throw him in some West Coast fucking gangster music, hit you from some South, go pop, like whatever, and just be able to just continue to hit you with body blows, body blows, body blows, body blows, body blows, and reading the crowd at the same time.
Yo, Fresh, can I? My bad for interrupting. Fresh, can I ask bro a question? Because I gotta ask him a question. It's been fucking with me since I started DJing.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about songs as an open format DJ? Correct?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel when the song that we love or we like or we recognize, right, is got, and this is no disrespect to anybody on who's listening, this is just a DJ to DJ question, right? Please listen to me, I'm being respectful as hell on this one, because I've always wanted to ask somebody this, but I've always been scared. So for example, if I'm correct, I think it's it's Country Grammar, that song. You're going down, down, baby. Right. You know I'm about to go. Why is it so hard for me to want to play that song? I went from old niggas, new niggas, the new niggas, with the whole niggas, the huh. Do I have to play the edited version? Or is it just going to, like, I just have to ask you because
I mean, so if someone asked, all right, I'm on my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please finish your question though.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
No, what I'm saying is like it depends on the crowd, the circumstances, right? And depending on the engagement that I'm at, right? If it is a corporate gig that got corporate money and we got thousands of dollars on the line and I'm DJing for like Toyota, we go and edit it, especially if that's requested, right?
Stop. Drop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being honest.
But if I'm streaming,
skip that part, bro. I just be honest, because that's the second part.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, and sometimes if you're quick mixing, you're already out because you got first verse and then chorus and out, right? Depending on how you do it.
Yeah, what timeline is played. Yeah, understood.
Right. So I mean, like I get it, and then like if you look at me, Mr. you're definitely, you know what I mean? Like I can't be like during that part either. I gotta kind of stone face it, be like I'm in my Serato right now, or I'm queuing up the next song. I'm not paying attention. I'm not like even trying to.
We seen Down to Earth.
No, we seen Down to Earth. Oh, you crazy.
Wait a minute, you playing this?
No.
Oh,
but no,
my
I mean,
God.
but I mean, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, Nelly, for me, when Country Grammar came out and all of his when he first hit, I liked it, and I was like, yo, okay, this is different. But when he took the pop turn, right? And he just got oversaturated and overplayed, right? So for me, my ears started deadening to him, right?
Right.
And it was just like it just became bubble.
Like how you did ASAP Rocky. Yeah, we do that to certain artists. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think as DJs, you have to accept that process. Like,
so he's not in my go-to. He's not in my go-to. He
You talking
is
about
in
who?
my go-to.
Shaq
So no,
or
for
Nelly?
Nelly. So like
Really?
if I have, I'll tell you, like it just depends on the crowd. And if I read the crowd and I know, and if I get a request and or whatever, like I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. I mean, he's just not in my go-to. I like going to I like going other places and other pockets. I know that if I'm in my 2000 bag and I need to play that 2000s and those fucking 2000 hits, he's in there. I mean,
Give
like,
me five. Give me five for the
you
2000s. Give me five, and I'll give you mine. Give me five.
2000s?
Yo, go tos. No matter what happens, yo, go to 2000s. I'm on that ass. Cause see, I always want to do a drink chance when I actually interview the interviewer. Yeah, let's see what you be on. Look,
I gotta think about this. I gotta think about this.
I'll go first. I go first because
go ahead.
My job to stump you.
Go ahead.
My first is gonna be next episode for sure.
Okay. Absolutely.
This is how we do it, guaranteed.
But that's 94. That's 95, 96. That's not 2000 though.
How we talk about this is how? Oh, you right. All right, so go 2000. I got you. So
I mean, if we want to just say this,
no, you're
timeline
right.
from 90s
you're
to
completely right. We're gonna go 2000, like I said. You right. So we're gonna go like I just said, and then we're gonna go with Air Force Ones.
Okay.
Nelly, because that's why I laughed when you said that. I was like, nigga, what? Then my third is gonna be yeah, that could be, but I didn't do that because they call me Big Ellie Headsprung. That's my third. Cause that's a banger.
Okay.
My fourth is gonna be. I'm about to punch you on the neck with this one because it's gonna piss you off a little bit. Oh, I never knew a love like bam. Then my
but that's not 2000 either. That's not even 2000s either. That's 90s.
What 90s is it? Because they made a remaster as a 20,026.
That's late 90s.
Can't count a remaster. Come on.
Yeah, that's
what I just said. I just said that. I'm gonna take it back. All right, cool. Fuck it, because you really want to go there. Hold on.
OR.
I mean, like that's how no. I'm so critical as far as years and shit like that. When you give me a question, I want to give you your true answer, right? So that's what I'm saying.
All right, Ryder. What's his name? Why am I pissed off at that right now? Fuck, what's that?
Ryder?
No.
Low Rider?
No, not Low Rider. What am I about to say? You know what I'm about to say? No, hold up. Let's say I'm riding, rolling, and then I'm dropping dirty. Shop. Yeah, that one.
Chameleonaire.
That's why I couldn't get his name.
Is that
that's 2000s, yes.
That is, that's early 2000s.
And then I'm gonna leave you with this in the club. That's it.
Oh, definitely in the club. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
But you see why I picked those is because it's my venture. By the way, this is my secret thumb. This is my own thumb. I don't know how y'all DJs work. No disrespect to anybody that does DJ, but I found out if I don't play any of them 5 songs, I'm that good. I have enough records. You get what I'm saying? I found holes between all those that I don't have to play them. And if I do play them, they're requests. You get what I'm saying? That's like one of the things I learned. I treat that shit like Zelda. If I'm able to go through this without having to use my certain tactics to beat the player, I'm godly.
Your buffs and your
I'm actually, and then to the point when I do drop the ones I said, like if I have to drop It's Hot in Here, or if I have to drop what's the other one I just said? This Is How We Do It. Shit like that. That means I'm losing. I'm depending on the crowd. I make
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, because you gotta be himothy. My uncle told me if you ain't got enough crates, don't play the game. Don't.
True.
Sit your ass down and go home and study music again. Learn your discography.
Slow motion. Yeah, that's a good one too.
You said what?
Miss Cat said slow motion, Juvenile.
Damn. And then with that being
that's
said, I didn't
2000s.
speak
Yeah.
about none of the Juvie shit. I ain't say none of the back that ass up. I ain't say none of the Wayne records. I ain't say a
Yeah, man.
Millie. I ain't say none of that shit.
So here we go. All right, so if we're gonna talk about 2000s, I'm gonna keep it hip hop too. So if
Are
I'm
you gonna
thinking
boom
hip
bap
hop,
on me? I love it.
no,
Let's
I ain't
go.
gonna. So here's the thing,
He
like
said, I ain't
when we're
gonna-
talking about, like, you know what I mean? Because there's so many that you could go to when you think of 2000s, especially
No, but
with
think
like the
open
hip
format
hop
like
pop.
you said, because
No,
open
I
format
got
is
you.
yeah.
But for me though, what I enjoy, because you know there's some, I have some biases and shit, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit you back with, you know, the What We Do Freeway. That's
Right.
in there. That's I told you from the crack. That's one I throw on if I just want to hit you with a body blow, especially if I'm throwing some hip hop and shit, because I found some dope ass ways to because I'm always like mashing up songs. So like I might go first verse.
Shout to my nigga I Grind, one of the best masher ups in the city. Residency at the Wiz and everything. Shout to I Grind.
All right.
Absolutely. Shout out to him. So, I mean, I like that. So what we drew is definitely going to be one of them. We're going to, of course, we've got to include, this one goes this one's from my mama Boogie, my wife. She, Eminem Shake That Ass for me with Nate Dogg and all that shit. If we talking about
Nate Dogg is definitely him. He was running the
some
2000s.
booties on the floor, right? If you exactly. So you've got Nate Dogg is one of my all time favorite artists, and we've got to go at that point. If since we're gonna go ahead and hit you with open format, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Mariah Carey album, The Emancipation of Mimi.
You going open? That's cool. I like that. I like you
several of them
thinking
on there. There's
about not the
several
niggas,
on there.
but the world. That's good. That's good energy.
So
that's why you get the Japan gigs. I see you.
there's several of them on there that. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna do the joint that she does on there with the locks. Off that album. I can't think of the name of the song.
It's hard when you say that too, because they don't get paid for it, but I understand.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, because I mean that was a dope remix, especially when that came out, folks. That got actually, asses on the floor. Like you throw that one on there, they would get asses on the floor. All right, so how many is that? Is that 3 or 4?
That's 4.
All right, and then again, I've got to. I mean, there's so many off of fucking the Massacre album. From 50 Cent's and Massacre album.
I knew he's gonna go there. I knew he was going. Hey, you see my face?
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I'm gonna tell you the one that I love and the one that Mama Boogie loves, and especially when I had my Impala with the dual 15s that just make it vibrate with the vibrating seat for, you know what I mean, is just a little bit. I want you to know
why I do this. Why I do this? I said a little bit, didn't I? I swear to God, I know this.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Hey, listen, I did one of my I keep saying it. I did one of my gigs, right? And there were songs that So have you guys watched the Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix? Is that one of y'all things y'all seen?
Absolutely. Yes. That is a dope ass. That is dope.
All right, so that's actually
latest one. I've watched most of that.
I teach that to my students.
That's good teaching. Class. That's a good.
You know why? You know why? There's my favorite line. It's a form they call it. It's called DJing downtown. It's a part of their curriculum. Inside of that actual Jones, this is when Africa Mbata and Grandmaster Flash got recognized in the city. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, oh, these are hood DJs. It just look, and I think you understand this too. I love both of y'all because y'all know what I'm about to say. It gets to the point of time where we're actually recognizing our art form taking place in other places, right? So one of the things that they were stating is we just saw ourselves in Brooklyn, Queens, Harlem, Bronx. We went to a place where he said, and I quote, we're 15 minutes away from NKU. or NYU, excuse me. I said NKU because I'm thinking about us up here. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we got these abilities to get towards these faces that have no idea about not only hip hop, but this thing that we do. And he asked them, listen, Grandmaster Flash. He said, what do you want me to play? He said, play whatever you played down there. He was like, so now I get to actually get busy, but I actually get to, that's what I love about what I say about what I'm doing right now. I'm at places down in the city like Mecca, Nostalgia, Blind Pig, these other locations in our city that don't get the option of hearing it as fast as we do it. And they actually like things more sooner than later. One of my favorites that I've been shouting out to is the Braxton. The Braxton Brewery in Covington is giving me so many options to play records on my own behalf when I was growing up. I didn't just play motherfucking Jay-Z all the damn time. I didn't play Jeezy and Gucci and Jadakiss and Fabulous. I was able to play some things I actually used to dance my fucking ass to running around the house or going outside these streets because I used to go to spots, Fresh, you ready? Like the motherfucking spot over there, what's that, when the, what is that, Metropolis and all that shit in Brick Street.
Shit.
Yeah, nigga, I was in these hoods. That's where I'm from. This is before, see, y'all, why I was in there?
That was Bourbon Street and Forest Fair and Mall in the Forest
Stop
Fair
playing
Mall.
with me.
They
remember that?
I had some
got a
DJs in
turkey
there.
shirt. You couldn't wear 5XTs. You had to have a belt,
I heard
no
so many
hats.
stories about that.
Like, that was different. And that's where
Hey,
I
look,
grew
that
up.
was easy hunting ground.
Stop playing with me, man. Like that. And then guess what?
Daughters asked me
After
to
you
go
were
there.
done,
Like, what
you
is this
took old
place? I
shorty
went
to
over
the
there
damn
like, what the hell?
Listen, he get mad now because you don't talk about it. I take that
Oh,
motherfucker across the street to IHOP and I give it the best meal ever. $5 and more. I got you.
Well, it was proximity.
I get you all the pancakes you want, boo.
Oh, the pig. And I would love to get him. Hey, listen. And
That
this
was
was
their
back
kid
in the
spot,
era
though.
where
That
I
was their-
wore
that was their
cartoon
king
tees.
spot.
I used to wear cartoon tees. My outfits were literally $17. The jeans was 10. The shirt was 3. I was Gucci. I just come in there feeling happy as hell with y'all. But and remind you, my favorite part of that timeline was I got to, and guess what? Y'all, see, Fresh, you should have put me on this podcast. Watch this. Did you know at the timeline when I went to that club, I got to recognize Hubbard, which is the club, not club, excuse me, the record pool of Kiss and Clear Channel and all those people. So I got to recognize their actual music, what they were playing at the timeline of. I wasn't bumping that. So then when I went to college, so when I was going to Miami, I went to Dayton, I went to Yellow Rose, Jackhammer. I got to see these other spots that were implicating other ways of playing records that were not even top 40 records that were coming to be. So the Pinks, the No Doubts, like that's what I was just saying about that show. He got to see worlds that were unknown. That's why I rap, because it rhymes. If you're that smart, you start to see the front, the glide, and you put them together, those Legos. And one of the things I loved about that was people like Pharrell were invested in that timeline. People like Dr. Dre were invested in that timeline. They were invested in their careers. They were showing them actual ways to, hey, ooh, I like that sound. How can I invest in that sound? And that's why I was just telling you about Jimmy Iovine and these other companies like, and then bringing Teddy back and Jimmy Iovine. Because remember, at that same timeline, Teddy Riley was bumping, but so was Terry Lewis and Jim, and they actually started doing back to Janet Jackson's project, because her comeback project in 2000 was what I was bumping.
Oh, that was Velvet Rope.
Boom, boom. I watched her live at the Jazz Fest last year, like in all white.
Teach.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I guess I love this shit too
I
love this shit too much.
Details.
I love talking music, bro.
Man, the details.
I know way too much, man. I know why my keyboard works. That's why I play it the way I play it. I use this computer behind me because I built that shit. Like there's no way around this. If you're a musician, if you're an artist, if you're a producer, if you're a DJ, if you're a regular nigga, you gotta understand what the fuck you got, what you have in your life. Your wife, your car, your damn near your dog. It's just that's what you paid for. How do you utilize that? I'm tired of people utilizing it wrong, and they make mistakes like, man, I don't even know what I got, bro. I made a mistake, bro. No, you are the mistake. Your mistake.
Fix you.
Yourself.
Fix you, motherfucker.
Self-care. Listen
There
to the
we
song.
go. That's dope.
I'm sorry. I told you I ain't playing games.
I see.
What's another one? You know what? I want to hear what your Kanye West Ninth Wonder Jay Dilla type beat, Power 2022 sounds like.
You got one of them?
Yeah, we want to hear this one right here. Let's peep this one out.
Hey, that motherfucker's back on the wave.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll be right back.
That's nasty right there.
You know, I actually made that beat live in front of a group.
I fucks with this one right here, bro.
The bass line was based off of Jay Dilla High Tech.
I got you.
You know what sample that is? That's gonna fuck with you the most.
Let me listen. I do know what sample that is, but I'm trying to place the name. I'm grooving to this. You got me distracted with this shit, man. I mean, is it 93?
It's 80s.
Okay.
It's one of the best jazz musicians of all time.
Okay, so it is.
It ain't Rodney Franklin, is it?
Nah.
Not Joe Sample.
Joe Sample?
Joe Sample?
Nope. It's the person that taught him.
Bob James.
Not Paul. Is it Paul? Is it Paul Hardcastle? So
it's Bob James, bro. Stop playing with me.
Bob James, what album is it? Because you said 80s. Is it
Love Signal?
I said Bob James.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I ain't hear it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you said, when you said, we said Joe Sample.
One of the greatest, when he said one of the greatest, I mean, but I was thinking,
there's only two most sampled artists in all times. And who's the second one, big dog?
James Brown and
Bob James. Them the two.
Yeah.
And what song was most sampled by Bob James than anybody? I need to hear from you. I know you know it.
The most sampled by Bob James is gonna be Nautilus.
Mardi Gras.
Thank you. Did you watch that video about him talking in 919?
What's that?
Ninth Wonder. He talked to him about I think it was not for Lander. I think it was for Lander, actually. He was just talking about how much that sample meant to him and everybody that was in hip hop. He was like, listen, that was a track we was asked by the record label to just add something. That was the last option I had. I just threw that on there. That's why it was the ninth record. And he was like, his head blew because he's talking about Ninth Wonder being his own name. He didn't say that out loud. Yeah. I thought about the entendre. Like, come on, man. Bob James is so fucking amazing. That's what we were talking about Music doesn't have a color. That boy is the coldest of all times. God damn. That boy going through the collection. You got 3 doubles, don't you? That boy going through it.
All right. These are just the ones that I have up here, bruh. So, I mean, of course, you got the Bob James, David Sanborn joint. You got Obsession by Bob James.
Look, that was a good album, too. What was the first one? Oh, my God.
Got that. Oh, that's a double. Look at that one right there. Number 1 with the OG. This is an OG press, by the way. All these are OG presses.
That's number 1, and that's Touchdown behind it. See, I know Touchdown, nigga. Don't play with me.
I mean.
Oh God, hey, and that's got that. That's got the.
That's got some joints.
That's got the one. That's got the one that Jazzy Faye did for Fresh. What's that?
Storm King.
Weather Chest. Storm King. Weather Chest.
Westchester Lady.
Westchester Lady. My bad. I said Weather
Chest.
Samples. I can't even remember which one.
Them covers were fire, by the way.
It might have been.
That's the one right there. That's the one right there. Look at that record right there. Look at the back of it.
Remember that one?
I sampled.
I still got all of those too.
And remind you, the only reason why I know that sample is because of D-Luck. Shout out to my uncle, nigga. He did that song on his album. Hey, that motherfucking 4, I didn't sample some shit off that too.
Yeah, man.
Bob James, my guy. That is my guy.
Lovely sounds, lovely sounds.
I love all old school jazz, man. 70s jazz, fusion, all of it, man. Like all of it.
The weird part, I wasn't really feeling it. I would actually play along with it. We had an organ, and this was my father's record. Had a bar in the basement, so they playing the joints. So I just play along with some of them. It wasn't really until hip hop started sampling, like, man, I think I like this jazz stuff. Because it was like,
that was the
like
art.
That was what I wanted to use it for.
That was the art. Dilla was a perfect example of utilizing space, time, and continuing. That nigga was the first Star Wars character, bro. I don't care what everybody say about rap. That motherfucker could take a drum pattern. Like, did you hear that favorite story I heard from the DJ at Roots? He said he's the only person I ever say drums on an MP like I actually played them. It's impossible the way he did them, because he didn't depend on the rhythm or actual clock. He just played them.
And we had the Slump Village on. They was talking about, you know, some of the intricacies of him doing beats and how the samples might, you know, back then it didn't always keep the same time signature.
Yep.
It might speed up, and like when you're trying to sample that one part or another piece from the album, it shifted. And he said he would figure out how to, you know, get them all into places. You know, tricky work.
I mean, he would take the entirety of the song and just to go through. And if you think about like the repetition of a song and the progression of a song, if he couldn't, he would find and cherry pick the entire song just for that one tone to be able to flip it back, you know. So he would just repiece everything together and chop it up. And then that's also how he, you know, baked in his, what, you know, the quote unquote Dilla swing, right? You know what I mean? Just to make it so it was like it was as far back in the pocket as it could possibly be. Like,
no,
he would
but
just
I think people forget about the importance of an MP. You know, an MP's main objective had a swing option, and that option is what's invested in a lot of other things that's invested in digital programming, which we call a DAW, digital audio workstation. Listen, don't play with me. I do this shit.
The
I
three
teach
the
these young niggas how
3000
to breathe.
the
The 3,000 you
3000 was
said?
my favorite. That's what I learned on, and that's what I prefer.
You be doing this. I'm gonna do it my damn self. Hold on.
You got a 3000?
Nah, I got something better.
You got the Rev, or is that a
Two.
what is that?
Got
Two?
the 2.
You got the 2.
XL.
I prefer the 3 over the 2. I still love the
Not
sound
an
of the 3.
X,
I
the
know
way
the
the
2.
pads felt and the way that the actual motivation of samples
Yeah,
on the back
they
end.
did a whole better job. I just prefer the sound of the 3000 over
Oh
the
no,
2.
we would all like something that was a bigger number. But I'm
Yeah,
just saying, if you
yeah,
had to use this to make beats, you was a
yeah.
goat. That's why I
No,
like
that
everybody that
those
I
came
uses
out
it.
never got
after.
to use it.
Those came out after because what the beauty of those were is that you could build them. You know what I mean? So you didn't have to buy them with all the options, right? So
I'm missing
that's
my
when they
dog.
came
I gotta
out.
see. I gotta take this bitch to the doctor. That's why it's in the corner.
Yeah, he
It's
looking
missing
sick.
the
Dude, they
whole
got so
row
many
now.
they got so many new ways to customize those machines. It's amazing.
It's crazy. Hey, shout out to MP. What's it called? MPstuff.com. MP
Yes.
Stuff is the spot. Like I didn't get to show you the actual right side of it, but when I bought it from a person that put a CF coder and not an actual floppy disk drive.
Hmm.
And now they got the thing where you can take that out and put the USB drive in. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Hey, but hold on. Can I show you one more thing? I'm not trying to be weird. Watch
Absolutely,
this.
please. He's got some nice reel to reels. All right.
Now, this is my daddy's masters.
Yeah, I still got them somewhere in this house.
This is why I laugh at niggas when they talk about, oh, I owe my masters. Well, do you really like this?
Hmm.
See that tape in that
The reels
motherfucker?
and the
That's a
thickness of
reel
the
to
tape.
reel.
Yeah, that's
Between
how we
every record.
recorded back then.
I know how to splice
1
those.
or
I
2.
worked at a studio.
I
I worked at a
I've had
studio
to
that
do
taught.
that.
I had
Yes,
to slice and splice.
you get that
So I'm just
little
saying, like,
machine.
back to digital audio units. We're talking about people as just a quick information to somebody that's on the line that's listening. Understand that we live in a world that's in a 44.1, a 48. This is sample bit rate situations. Those was in 24. And with that being said, it was the truest form of audio that's created in the world that we live in. But to
Yes, sir.
actually to progress to the next actual song or next actual lyric, if you needed to actually affect that, we would have to cut a piece of fucking paper that was actually magnetic tape and then reabsorb that back to each other to go to the next part of the song. And that actual process is just why people be like, but to this day, I laugh and be like, even if I have to actually edit someone's record, I was like, could you imagine what I had to do back then? I should charge you triple. Like this whole digital was easy as hell now.
Technology is such wonders.
I learned how to do that and have done it many occasions.
You had to use that
Splicing.
blade like cocaine. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you had your
That's
little block.
crazy.
You had to, you know what I'm saying? You had to put the tape down. You had to run it through the you know, the machine, and you pretty much cueing it back and forward to figure out where everything
To
is.
where it
And
actually existed and cut to where it belongs.
then you pull it down on the chopping block, and you've got your precision cuts and slice it, and
Got
then
that little slot right
pop
there.
in.
Pop.
Yeah, man, pop.
I
and
bet
then
you don't miss that shit at all either, though.
Now, you know what though? I mean, like when
Hey,
you
he said,
say
well, you
like
know, that's
nerd
an
and
old head
shit.
in him. He said,
It's a
you know
memory.
what, though?
It's a memory.
No, I don't, because I mean it was I felt it was relaxing, and it was one more way that I was able to put my hands on the music and be a part of the creative process and really, like, you know, I'm handcrafting this.
Word up.
I hear you. But they ain't write
I
it
mean,
down like
it's that
that
much
on the
more.
damn album.
No. But I'm
They
gonna
say,
I'm
the
gonna
cut.
He might have made the.
I'm gonna tell you
the liner. He
the
made the liner notes.
the computer though is is definitely dope. I mean, like, this is the way to go. I embrace technology, and I think it's an amazing time to be a part of music. Period.
Word.
So, can I ask you a personal question? Because I know you have artists in here. Can I explain something to the people on the page? Just because
Yeah, man.
not only as
Go
a
for it.
teacher, I think it's lost in transition. Genuinely, quick note to all those that's here in this world we live in, and whoever sees this again. You're not yourself if you don't own your masters. That was one big conversation for a lot of people in the 90s, 80s. People changed their names for that, da 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 da. But to this point, to this day we live in, right? When people feel that their style is getting uh compromised or recognized, or but it's not them, it's someone else. How would you feel if you recognize that you actually own your masters? You know, one of my favorite stories on masters, and you tell me if I'm wrong, because I have to speak on this if you don't mind. About to be on that gangster shit. De La Soul. Shout out to De La Soul. They was in Tommy Boy, right? Am I wrong or right on that?
Correct.
They was on De La Soul, and they contract only read to do analog equipment, right? It wasn't spoke on to be able to be in digital format, correct?
Yes.
So
we talked about that.
yeah, but to
10
tie that
episodes
in double entendre, to right now, there's people that go to studio sessions, record sessions, get it song, even if they get it mixed and mastered at the location that they're at, right? If you don't leave with the actual hard drive of the Pro Tools, Logic, FL, whatever the hell, Reaper, you don't own your masters, nigga. You are a person. You are a person that just exists. That got nothing to do about your music. And I laugh because when people
it's
say,
almost
oh
like an
yeah, man,
NFT.
I don't got this session. I said, you ain't an artist. Artists don't ever have that problem. This is why people get people in place, like executives, ARs. There's nothing wrong with having someone invested in your time in your actual session to make sure that you have a good time in your session, but you actually have someone to make sure, hey, back that up. I have an external on me,
I actually
a
would
flash
flip that.
drive
I
on
would
me.
say your manager and your entertainment
Even your
lawyer,
DJ, it's the
because
person
your
that
A
knows
and R at that
technology.
time was not working
Yeah.
for you. They were working for the label and making money for them.
And that's
working
why
for
they
other
keep
labels.
losing their own music.
Your manager, your entertainment lawyer is the one's going to guarantee your agent, whatever you want to call them, is working for you, not somebody with the company, which could be AR promotions, whatever. Those are the people that got to guarantee you getting that master. And back then, I mean, putting your music out now, you don't. It's not. You don't need a major record label, so you don't need that major investment like you used to get the return for them to be holding on to your masters. Like, okay, we got to recoup our money before you see any
There's
dime
no
from me.
recoup
Yeah.
nowadays. You
That's
remember
what I'm
when
saying. The game to change.
They got
yeah,
the
but did you see
360
what
deal, man.
nah, fuck
Yeah,
the
buddy.
360. We gonna go deeper than that. Did you see what 21 Savage spoke on? It's not about the average that you have. It's about the fact that you have to have an actual following. That following is about you. If someone say if you have 30,000 people on TikTok, that means that record needs to be streamed on TikTok. But with that being said, it needs to be streamed through you and not the 15 people that help you do what you do with your promises. Oh yeah, I said I put you on the, and then you did the drums, and then you did the. That's why some of these motherfuckers is losing their whole mental, because have you noticed that we're losing a lot of great artists? Childish Bambino. I can name about 15 more. Even I hate to say it, some of our greatest artists are losing their focus to make music because they're afraid to put out music. That is a danger to everything that we do in our reality. If you mean to tell me the reason why you don't want to make music because you fuck with fuck niggas, bitch, fuck with real niggas. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like it's fucking with me mentally because I want to play it, I want to hear it, I want to absorb it. But all you can say is, well, at the time, cuz he was my nigga, but then the nigga was fucked. He was bullshit. He was an op. Like, your op is always your op if you don't notice it. That's the truth. You don't have nobody as your friend until he's been an op. He's an op. Everybody's an op. Damn near your DJ's an op. Your recording, your mother, your baby mama's an op. You gotta respect the fact that you have abilities to do LLCs, text IDs, things that can actually sit you in a freedom.
NFT. Well, I'm about to be the op. I'm getting hungry.
Oh, you better feed. You better feed.
I'm about to be the op. We're gonna wrap this up here.
My bad. I didn't want to waste no time.
No, cool. I mean, it's been very entertaining.
No
and
comment.
intriguing.
Yeah. No conversation about music is a waste of time, especially here, fam.
Absolutely
and I'm happy.
not.
And I appreciate the fact that, we got to speak on not just hip hop influences, but you brought up a lot of artists and just through, just the 80s period. And then you can even see it in the music that you sampled, right?
And
So it's dope.
Pizza. Come on, man.
I mean, Angelo. Shout out to the
said
mushroom and
Angelo.
swish, or mushroom and
Pasquale.
provolone.
Dino.
Pasquale's, man. Papa Dino's.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we will get into it since Mr. Fresh is hungry.
Yeah. It's late here. It's 11:30 here. Get up early.
And guess what? I don't give a fuck. I can teach a bunch of hungry kids at the school in the morning. So whatever you do, I got a DJ. I got a.
Hungry. They hungry.
Yeah, they want to learn how to be me. They got to learn how to be me. That's the hunger.
Feed them information. I got you. I thought you actually had to bring some croissants or some shit.
You stupid. Nah.
I was like, damn, hey, who footing that bill? It's all good, my brother. All good, man. Yeah.
So we're going to get into shout outs. Shout outs, fam.
I'm giving a shout out to all our listeners. Check in, like you do every week. Spread the word. We're going to keep more artists, interviews, different topics on hip hop coming. Shout out to all the loved ones, wifey, Weeze. Hope you're feeling better over there. Get well, my brother. Shout out to Yon L.i joining us. Thank you, nephew. Very informational and edutainment at its best. Bravo.
And then we'll go ahead and, of course, Yon L.i, shout outs, fam.
Hey, man, shout outs to the one and only, my city, Cincinnati, Ohio, FP, Forest Park, uptown. Shout out to the Ohio Broadcasting School that I actually help and see more of the dreams that you can never think of. Shout out to all of the clubs that I work for, all my residencies, the Brasconis, the Bugattis, I could say a bunch of million of them, but I will say this. It's an honor to be myself, and I thank everyone that makes me better. All right, your boy, Yosh.
Yes, sir. And of course, I want to say thank you, of course, to Yon L.i. Appreciate you. This has been a dope episode. Appreciate your work. Much love to you. You're always welcome back. And then, of course, shout out to Fresh. Salute, fam. We just did 24 of them. 25s next week, man. We got DJ Lenny Ducano coming up next week. I forget who we got. Did we have Dante from Lou?
I think we got Sam Zulu.
Sam Zulu next week. So be on the lookout for that as we get information to you immediately. Make sure you follow B-Boys Underground on Instagram and also on TikTok, as well as Facebook, YouTube, of course, right here at Twitch. I want to say again, tomorrow night, Usual Suspects session number 152, y'all. We got some special guests tapping in. It's 420 humor. It's just like you having a sesh with your friends. Grab your favorite plant, grab your favorite liquid, sit back, relax. We are mad inappropriate, so if you get offended easy and you don't like bad words, crazy shit being said, probably not a good spot for you. Much love. And until then, and the next time, keep positive, keep pushing, keep persevering. I'm Ghost Boogie. Much love. We getting ready to raid the homie Richie D 420. Ready up.
Last word. Yon L.i, give us our drop, brother, and then we out.
Yeah, man.
Hey, if you ain't fucking with the poise, with the fucking bounce from the out, you ain't fucking with us, man. Be that, boys. We out here with the out down. We doing it right.
Hell yeah. And with that being said, we rated out. So much love to each and every single one of y'all. Check us out next Wednesday, same time.
B-Boy Undergrounds, we out here.